minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
Hello, sports gamers, and welcome to the ECL Elite, our continuation of the playoff action here. My name is Sin, joined today by Brandon B. Major Bigsby, and today the semifinals begin. Tunnel Vision Straikers, the first pairing. A little bit later, we'll have EXEN and Valokuitunen going head-to-head. Both matchups will be playing the first two games of their series today, and they will conclude on their own separate broadcasts a bit later this week. So I'm feeling great. How are you feeling, Brandon?
Oh, I'm feeling amazing, Sin. Two amazing series. I think that a lot of people felt that these are the four teams that probably could make it into the semifinals at the beginning of the season. It's exactly what we got. We didn't know exactly how the matchups would end up, but man, Straikers and Tunnel Vision, a finals rematch of multiple seasons, and then a Valokuitunen team going up against an EXEN squad that's looking to get into that final spot for the first time, and Valokuitunen, obviously the defending champs. This is going to be a lot of fun to see these two series kick off, and I can't wait to get it started.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely great. So we'll take a look now at the bracket and how we got to this point here, of course, as the Valokuitunen and Blackjack series went the distance all the way to 7. Same thing, Straikers and Unwanted. Very disappointed I wasn't on the call for that, because that looks like it was a heck of a conclusion to the series. Really much mirrored what happened in the last season. Tunnel Vision, Bjorklöven, that only went to 5 games, but Bjorklöven did pick up one of those wins. It was looking dire for them for after the first couple games. At EXEN Totarit, of course, that was the lone sweep in the first round, and you're seeing how the teams are reseeded here. And I mean, this Straikers Tunnel Vision matchup, it's really a classic.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I feel like the El Clasico was kind of shifted in a sense. So it used to be Fila and Havu, and then it kind of turned into H-Reds and Frölunda, and now it kind of feels like it's become Straikers and Tunnel Vision. I mean, these are the two teams that seem like they constantly are meeting in the playoffs every single year. They've met in 4 of the last 5 seasons, either in the semifinals or the finals, whether it's under different team names or so you have it. But it feels like these two are always the consistent series that meet in the postseason, and they once again are meeting, but Tunnel Vision have been the ones that have gotten the best of Straikers. And though I know that Straikers probably won't say that they're thinking about it too much, I also think you'd be crazy to think that they don't know that it has been 3 years since these guys have won a championship. They want to end that drought now. They're going to have a long road ahead of them to do it, and it's going to start out with a Tunnel Vision team that has gotten the best of them over these last few seasons. This is going to be such a fun series to watch because of that.
Yeah, so we'll now turn our attention to that series between Straikers and Tunnel Vision and look at what they've done so far throughout the course of the playoffs here. And you can see just how tough of an out Unwanted is. They, against Straikers, made them have a goal differential that was even across the board. And you see Tunnel Vision on that other side. 14 goals for, 6 goals against. I mean, they're looking incredibly good. They haven't struck on the power play quite yet, though.
It's actually been a pretty disappointing power play for Straikers. You see that 10%. That's because they went 1 for 10 in that series against Unwanted. And this is a power play that was over 36% in the regular season. That was the best number in the league. So really to see their power play and their special teams in general really struggling, their penalty kill really low as well. So not only have they not been able to score on the man advantage, but they have taken a few penalties and have allowed goals on the penalty kill. So special teams is something that they're definitely going to have to step up against, especially when you have a team like Tunnel Vision on the other side, that when you do make those mistakes, you don't capitalize on those chances, they will make you pay every single time.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll take a look now at the lineups for these two teams, and well, it's probably what you would expect out of these two rosters here. It is Vatu, Pikari, and Leitinen up front for Tunnel Vision, Tombo and Wenger on the back end, and Benno in between the pipes. For Straikers, Puanso, Eki, and Tempanen on the front end, Nasustelia and Flyer Kungen on the points, and Hans Celino manning the blue paint back there. We'll take a look now, as we do with the head-to-head matchup, starting with the centers between Eki and Pikari here. And, well, the points are even, but Pikari is actually scoring at a higher pace because they finished off their first opponent in those 5 games, Brandon.
Yeah, and if you want to know something crazy, Sid, I know you weren't able to be in the booth with me, but all 3 of Eki's goals came in Game 7, so he was scoreless in the first 6 games of that Unwanted series. He was not really able to get it going as much on the offensive end until late, but hey, he stepped up, got it going when he most needed to, and that is what matters. And then you mentioned Pikari on the other side, who had to come in for Mosja, who left last season. They've made a lot of changes to that center spot over the last couple of seasons, have tunnel vision, but Pikari really has been able to settle in well, and you've seen that in those goals. 4 or 5 goals in the 5 games he's played. It's going to be interesting to watch him match up against Eki, who, I mean, for my money, easily has been one of the best centers all season long throughout this season.
Absolutely, and I believe we were able to get a word in with Eki as well. We're not too sure if we're going to play that right now, but I think we are going to be able to. We'll throw it over to that Eki interview and hear what he had to say about this one.
I'm here with Straikers center Eric Tamanpa, better known to all of us as Eki. Eki, thank you so much for taking a few minutes here to join me.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So before we do get to the business at hand, I do have to ask you a more lighthearted question off the ice. I know your family got a little bit bigger last week. Congratulations to be the new ECL's newest dad. I gotta ask you, man, how has this past week looked for you, just in balancing ECL and then content and just everything else happening? And secondly, how little sleep have you been able to get?
Yeah, you might hear him in the background. Maybe, I don't know. He's crying right now, but yeah, it's been good. Baby is healthy. That's the most important thing. Yeah, obviously I want to be as present as possible. So, in all honesty, before the quarterfinals, I had played like 2 days in like 10 days or something. So yeah, I wasn't totally at my best. And then yeah, I think sleep has been the only thing that has taken a hit. But last couple of days, I'm trying to get back to normal work schedule, sort of.
Yeah, absolutely. No, well, again, big congratulations to you and your family on the new edition. Now, kind of turning on to the more on ice stuff. A huge series win this past week against the really scrappy, unwanted team. You showed up big in Game 7, getting all 3 of your goals in that critical game. And now you go up against a tunnel vision team that, though different, does play kind of a similar play style. Considering this, do you think that anything from last week's series will help you going into the semifinals?
Honestly, not really. I think Unwanted has last ECL and this ECL has been a really tough matchup for us. I think they play different to any other team. They kind of have their own thing going on. They play really fast pace, attacking the net all the time. I actually think Tunnel Vision is a better team, but I think Tunnel Vision's game style is more fitted to what we're used to. They play a bit more traditional in a way where they build up attacks and try to play with a bit more patience in the offensive zone. So yeah, it will be a different series for sure. Against Unwanted, you have the puck most of the time, or we had, and it's just how do you manage that puck possession and how do you stop their counterattacks. I think against Tunnel Vision, there's a bit more variety maybe in that, but yeah, it will be a tight series. We played them a lot over the years. Our roster is really different now with me at center, Tempanen in the right wing, no Patslav, so it's a totally new look for us as well. It will be interesting to see how the series goes, but yeah, I'm feeling good.
Yeah, you kind of mentioned the familiarity there with the play style. Do you feel like that plays in your hands a little bit more since you are playing something that you guys are more adjusted to playing compared to something that's a little bit more unorthodox against Unwanted?
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, we were really uncomfortable the whole Unwanted series. Even though we had most of the puck possession against them, it doesn't really matter because they're so good on the counterattack. So yeah, yeah, I would say we are a bit more comfortable against how Tunnel play and honestly how anybody else outside of Unwanted plays. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And matchups always so important. So had to make sure I asked you that just because I always love hearing what you think about these different teams.
Mm.
I get to talk to you. Speaking of different teams, focusing more on your team, I know that on Twitter you mentioned that you'd like to see some improvements from you guys' game and how you played in that last series in the quarterfinals. Kind of looking back now, since you've had some time to rethink on it, what do you feel like those improvements are that need to be made, and what do you feel like needs to happen in order to make them?
I just think we need to play more consistently and limit stupid mistakes. Like the whole ECL has been pretty up and down for us. Some games we play good, some periods we play good, and then next we play bad. And now we're in the top 4 against Tunnel Vision and against Reds in the finals. Valokuitunen, probably. You can't do mistakes, or mistakes as much as we have. So yeah, that's about it. I think when we play our best, we play really good, and then got to say before the quarter final there was a bit of a break. I had a lot of things going on. We didn't really practice nearly how we should have for the quarter finals, but it's a good thing now that the semifinals are straight after the quarter finals for us as well. So we should be ready to go, prepared, and yeah, excited.
Yeah, for sure. And then one more question for you. Don't want to take up too much of your time, obviously. You mentioned how familiar you guys are with this Tunnel Vision team, especially in the playoffs over the last few years. What do you notice is usually the difference between wins and losses when these two teams face off against each other?
Scoring from scoring chances, or capitalizing scoring chances easily. Yeah, I feel like Tunnel has been better at doing that against us, and goaltending as well. Last ECL, both finals, Uhnikka was unreal against us in the finals. So yeah, goaltending is a massive factor as well. But I know Tunnel has had their ups and downs throughout this ECL as well, more so than in the past seasons. So yeah, and us too, to be honest. So it's kind of, I'm excited to see how the series turns out, how it starts. Honestly, I don't really have a lot of expectations. I don't know what to expect from the series. It will be totally different with our new lineup as well. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes this series so fun, is that you guys are two teams that are in slightly different places, both in terms of roster and just the way that your seasons have gone. It's going to be interesting. So going to be a lot of fun to watch. And I know I'm so excited to see you guys match up once again here head to head. Eki, thank you again so much for taking a few minutes to talk with me here. Best of luck with you guys the rest of the series.
Thank you.
All right, well, it's great to hear from Eki, of course. Lots of insight into what Straikers is up to, their kind of mentality and what have you. Great questions as well, Brandon. But we move our attention now to the winger matchups. And once again, you're seeing, quite a bit of a differential in the rate of scoring. And it could be a factor, of one team's matchup was a little bit quote unquote easier. There's no real easy matchup, but for Tunnel Vision, they beat their opponent in 5, and Straikers have really always had trouble with Unwanted.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the things that I really took away most from when I got to speak with Eki, is that he was very honest and open in saying that Unwanted made them uncomfortable, and he pretty much said that is not a great matchup for them stylistically. And I feel like every team in this division has that one matchup to where even if the talent or the stats per se don't match up as evenly at the surface, just the style and the matchup is a bit of a struggle. And I do think that's a big reason as to why the stats for Straikers are a little bit lower end, is because they played an Unwanted team that they do struggle with. They didn't really get to practice as much. Obviously, Eki had a lot of stuff going on the outside. And for Tunnel Vision, they got to match up against a Bjorkloven team that, though did make it into the playoffs, were a 6th seed, a very good team, may have been just a better matchup for them. I mean, keep in mind, that was Bjorkloven's first ever playoff series in the Elite Division. They had not been here before. Unwanted, they've been around the block once or twice. They took Straikers to the very brink last season as well, the 6 games. So I think matchup definitely does have a lot to do with that, but I don't think you can take away from what Vatu and Lightston were able to do, seeing them continue that high-octane offense that we have been so used to seeing from them over the last few years. Remember, they were one of the highest scoring offenses offenses in the regular season as well. No surprise to see them putting up the numbers they are. Just surprising to not see Straikers a little bit higher considering the amount of games they play. But hey, like I said, sometimes those matchups do make that big of a difference.
Absolutely. And we'll take a look now at those defensive matchups. And between these two squads, of course, the long-standing duo of Tombo and Wenger, and Nasustelia Valokuitunen, a little bit newer on the side of Straikers, but both very experienced players right here. And something that's surprising me is not a single back-end guy is at point per game, which is a rarity, even in the playoffs.
Yeah. You know, I think that really is surprising just because during the regular season, most of these guys were at or above that point per game area. And it's a little bit surprising to see that, but I think that just kind of goes to show you the quality that we have in these playoffs. We just talked about how good of a team Unwanted is. Well, Bjorklov and Esports were one of the better defensive teams during the regular season. So even though we saw the forwards really get active and get some of the goal scoring done, we saw Bjorklov kind of slow down Tombo and Wenger a little bit when they had the puck on their stick. So I think it just kind of goes to show you the overall parity that we have in this league, but all four of these guys have that ability to make plays happen, especially Valokuitunen over on that right D side, being so used to being a forward. We've seen some of the plays that he is able to create. He's going to be someone to look out for, and he'll be on the same side as Tombo, who actually got to talk to before these games started here.
Absolutely. So let's toss it over to that interview with Tombo.
I am here with Tunnel Vision's left defenseman and captain, Tommy Lehtinen, better known as Tombo. Tombo, thank you again so much for taking the time to join me here once again today.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, first and foremost, congratulations on making it to the semifinals yet again. A dominant performance for you and Tunnel Vision in the quarterfinals. You win versus Bjorklov and Esports in 5 games, and that looked like the most complete performance that we've seen from you guys really all season. What do you feel like led to your success during your series last week?
Yeah, I feel we played like really well overall. Beno was really good in net, and especially we defended really good, and we didn't take too much penalties or did mistakes. And every time when we need to do goals, and then we did, and so it was sort of like a really good series for us overall.
Yeah, I mean, you guys were absolutely phenomenal, really, from all 3 phases of the game. Now you turn your attention to a Straikers team that I know you guys are plenty familiar with over the years here in the playoffs. You've got the best of them over your last few series against them. What do you think gives you guys that extra sense of confidence, considering that you know that past history and that you have been able to knock them out a few times before?
Yeah, so it like gives us confidence when we have like beat them recently a couple of times, and even our roster have changed a little bit, but we are still like really confident to play against Straikers, and always in best of 7 the better team will win.
Yeah, for sure. And it feels like that every time you guys match up against one another, as I mentioned, you're very familiar with them. You guys know each other's tendencies, you know each other's rosters, really like the back of your hand. What about Straikers play stands out to you, or you feel like challenges you guys the most?
Well, I think like Straikers are problem that they have like always have like a really good and experienced players, and when the games like matter most, they are like into the best, and they just like have like really skilled players with really good game sense, and they have also like have always a really good goalie, and yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Tombo, last question for you. Don't want to take up too much of your time. Obviously, the matchups and the margins between these two teams always so close. It feels like every time you guys play, the game is just decided by a play here or a play there. Every time you guys match up in the playoffs, it goes to 6 or 7 games. In your experience against this team, what do you believe is the difference between wins and losses when playing against them?
Well, yeah, like you said, the like games are always like in really like small things, but I think the like or like of course the like first goal is really huge in every game, and also especially in this game, you need to have like a little bit lucky also. But yeah, I think main things are like just like don't do anything like stupid mistakes, or don't do like take too many penalties, and yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, avoiding those little mistakes going to be important. That first goal going to be interesting to look out for as well. Very good points there. Tombo, thank you so much once again for taking the time, taking a few minutes to chat with me here before the series, and best of luck to you guys here starting out.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, so of course, good to hear from Captain Tombo on the side of Tunnel Vision as we shift our focus now to the goaltender matchup between these two teams. And Bennu, as you know, Tombo alluded to, they thought he was phenomenal in that first series, and the numbers definitely show that.
Yeah, and talk about a bounce back series there for Bennu after he struggled in the regular season, was around 78 save percentage, which was very surprising for him. A guy that was a goaltender of the season nominee just last season in the winter campaign, was kind of shocking to see him have such low stats. And obviously, not all of that was his fault. The play in front of you has to be good as well as a goaltender, and we have well documented the struggles defensively that we saw from Tunnel Vision in those first 30 games. But he was absolutely stellar in that series against Bjorklöven. And then you see Hanselinho on the other side, just under 83 save percentage. A massive reason the Straikers were able to really get past Unwanted, because every time it felt like Unwanted were going to be able to push through and get that extra chance, it felt like Hanselinho was always there to step up and make that big save for his team. So easily two of the best goalies in Europe facing off in this series. We've seen these two face off against one another a few times, not very often, but a couple of times. So it's going to be fun to see how they match up against each other here. It's going to take some good goaltending. We saw Eki say that a little bit earlier in his interview. I believe we heard Tombo say it just now as well, that goaltending was going to be big. So the pressure going to be big on both these two men on your screen.
Absolutely. So we should be just a couple moments away from puck drops. But before we get to that, of course, we have the keys for success for each of these two teams. Starting off with Tunnel Vision. Brandon, what do you think?
Yeah, first and foremost, carry over the defensive success that you saw from the quarterfinals. Now, I know Bjorklöven, a much different team from Straikers, but I think just fundamentally, we talked to Tombo last week as well, and he said that just the overall focus and the overall investment is a little bit higher for this Tunnel Vision team in the playoffs compared to what they felt like it was in the regular season. They're going to have to carry that through, because if the defensive play is like what it was in the regular season against this Straikers team that they lost to twice, they are going to have their struggles winning and making their way into the finals. Next, stay out of the box. The one thing about this Tunnel Vision team, they can be aggressive. Sometimes it can be to a fault. It can lead to some mistakes, and it can also lead to some penalties. We know the Strikers struggled on the power play in that last series, but I think that was an anomaly. If you give them too many chances with that man advantage, they will kill you for it. So it's going to be important for Tunnel Vision to try to stay away from penalties as much as they can. And last but not least, take advantage of offensive zone time. We see so often Tunnel Vision has that ability to hem you in that offensive zone, but Straikers is the same way. Both of these two teams love dominating the possession. I don't think there's going to be a massive advantage in that possession game really for either one. So when both sides really are in that offensive zone, they're going to have to take advantage of it. I think that's especially important for Tunnel Vision because of the fact that they had a significant advantage in that last series. They're not going to here in this one. So they have to take advantage of offensive zone time, try to get those open plays, and don't be afraid to shoot that puck when you think you have a lane for it.
And last but not least, we'll check out the keys for success on the side of Straikers. Brandon, take it away.
Yeah, number one, disrupt the cycle game of Tunnel Vision. We know they love to move that puck around. It's a much different offense than what they played last week. We see Tunnel Vision, they like to use the speed, they like to use the counterattack, so there are some similarities to that Unwanted team, but unlike Unwanted, this Tunnel Vision squad really do play that puck possession. They move it around. They space you out defensively until they can find that one open space where they can pounce. You're going to have to disrupt that cycle game and not let them get too comfortable in the offense. So number two, I'll be honest, I took this straight out of Eki's words. They have to capitalize on scoring chances. We didn't really see them do that as well, I feel like, in that quarterfinal series. That's a big reason that some of those goals and points tallies were a little bit lower than you would have expected to see. When they have scoring chances, They're going to have to capitalize on them in this series against a Tunnel Vision team that, as we mentioned, they did beat twice in the regular season, but they have yet to be able to beat recently in playoff series. And last but not least, they have to improve on the power play from last week. We know Tunnel Vision, as good as they are, they can take some penalties sometimes. Straikers have got to take advantage of that. 1 for 10 on the power play is not going to get it done. They were able to escape last series with that. They're not going to be able to do that again this time around against a better team. So they're going to have to capitalize on those man advantage opportunities when they get them. Go back to that power play that you had in the regular season and improve from what you saw last week.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, being able to capitalize on those mistakes, especially in a matchup as tight as this, can be absolutely huge, and it could be the difference maker. So we have gotten word the teams have matched up. We are just a few moments away from puck drop. Game number 1 between Tunnel Vision and Straikers here in the ECL Elite Semifinals. So, I mean, we're obviously very excited here to get this going, but I mean, the hype, the narrative is there. I mean, Tunnel Vision has gotten the better of Straikers. The narrative for Straikers has been former champion. They've had to watch 2 different dynasties now after the old back in the day when them and Havu were just exchanging finals every single season. And now they have essentially combined rosters to create this super team. It was initially built to beat H-Reds. Then Tunnel Vision took over, became the new dynasty, and now the defending champions, formerly H-Reds, now Valokuitunen, are looking to go back-to-back. And Straikers, you know, they want to be that team that comes in and just messes everything up.
And you have to feel like they feel like this season could be the season. We've seen more parity in this season than I think we've seen in a really long time. All of these 4 teams have as realistic of a chance as the other to win it all. Straikers, they're the most composed team, but you know they have been long starved for that championship. It starts right here. They got to win this series first.
Yeah, quick shot on by Eki right there. On the backhand, forced to save out of Bennu. And here comes Wenger, back the other way for Tunnel Vision. They do gain the line, but a quick turnover sent up the ice. And that's Nasustelia coming in. Backdoor feed right there, looking for Poinso, can't connect. Wenger once more takes it in. Leitinen, his shot, loose in front, dangerously bouncing around. Anselino will find it and cover it.
Oh, quick start here for both of these 2 sides. You saw the quick shot on from Straikers not even 30 seconds in, and then Tunnel Vision come right back and get a quick shot of their own. So the goaltending being tested. You see, we talked about taking advantage of your offensive zone time. Both of these sides do exactly that to start out here.
Eki takes it across the line. Tempinen has it. He goes 5-hole and scores. I think there might have been a delayed call as well. I thought I saw something pop up on the scoreboard, but it doesn't matter. Tempinen opens up the scoring for Straikers.
And how about that for a quick start for Straikers? Just a lot of space there to be able to drive to the net, and maybe caught Bennu off guard just a little bit. Couldn't get into that butterfly animation fast enough. Nice job there from Tempinen, just kind of squeaking it through that 5-hole, using this only space he had for a shot and putting it through. That's exactly what you want to see if you're Straikers, and not a great start there for Tunnel Vision defensively.
Definitely not. They're going to want to try to find a quick response here. Taking a controlled breakout from their own end. Nice step up there by Poinso, knocking that puck loose. Forcing Tunnel Vision to retreat. Vatu now, plenty of space, and Peekity got in there all alone right there. A neutral zone breakdown for Straikers, but they don't end up paying for it. Nice pass up. Nasustelia joins the rush. He gets drilled by Tombo. And they'll have to back off here as Tunnel Vision tried to get his own entry. It's intercepted by Eki. Poinso back to Eki. Eki's shot on net. Bennu had some trouble with that rebound, but does find it between the pads.
Yeah, that puck kind of was playing with him there a little bit. It looked like he wanted to maybe roll in past him after he made that blocker save, but a nice job from Bennu keeping track of that and holding on to it for a stoppage.
A rare jump right there on the face-off, so a free win for Tunnel Vision. Straikers trying to get in their defensive set once more. Another zone entry. Vatu lost it, but got it back, and, well, now it's in possession of Flyer Kungan. And Straikers look to move that one out. Poinso's pass a little off the mark, but it ends up going and hitting off of the goaltender, Bennu. Straikers, though, not having that strong of a forecheck right now. I think they're a little bit gun-shy of the counterattack after last series, and of course knowing that Tunnel Vision themselves are an excellent counterattacking team in their own right.
Yeah, Neki kind of downplayed that a little bit when I asked him, you know, Unwanted and Tunnel Vision having some similarities. He felt like this matchup maybe plays into their hands a little bit more than Unwanted did, but some of that similarity, I think, still in the back of their mind after last series, and you're seeing that, I think, in some of the hesitantness that they're having with their defensive play.
Kempinen with a head of steam. Backdoor feed to Poinso. He can't get the shot away. 5-hole scores! 2 quick goals here for Straikers in the first period, and it looks like they have a scouting report on Bennu. I believe that's 2 in-tight shots on the short side that went 5-hole. It sure looks like that from the replay.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Sin. Just an in-tight shot, goes right through the 2 pads in the stick of Bennu, and, you know, that's one thing that we haven't talked about yet, but it is true. Last time these 2 teams played in the playoffs, it was Unique back there. Now it's Bennu, so it's a little bit different compared to what we saw, and Straikers are 3-1 against Bennu since they had him in the Tunnel Vision lineup. So, you know, maybe there is something to that. Still very early, but that is not what you want to see right now if you're Tunnel Vision. 2 quick goals going in past you in the game, in the first game of the series.
Straikers looking very good, not allowing Tunnel Vision to get themselves established and get that cycle game going. Pass down low, Valokuitunen now looking for the wraparound. Couldn't quite get the animation that he wanted on the speed wrap, but still gave Bennu a little bit of trouble. And an offside here is Tunnel Vision failing to gain the line.
Sid, I think you definitely may have pointed something out there. It seems like they really are targeting those shots over on the post to go 5-hole. They've gone for that wraparound once or twice too. You wonder if maybe they've found something there in Bennu's game that they think they could maybe exploit, because they're not even going for shots at the point or in the slot. Every single time they are going in tight, trying to test that close shot on him.
Counterattack here. Lehtinen can't get that pass across. Had Pikari streaking in front. Errant pass right there, nearly creating some issues. That's a trip though. Valokuitunen hits the ice. And we'll get a chance to see the Straikers power play if they need it. Good support there. Poinso has the puck. He just rips a shot on. It will get touched up. And we will see the first power play of the game on the side of Straikers.
Yeah, we talked about this during the keys to the game for both sides. For Tunnel Vision, try to stay out of the box, and for Straikers, try to take more advantage of the power play. And unfortunately for Tunnel Vision, they do take an early penalty, not what you want to see, already being down 2-0. But for Straikers, I'm interested to see how the power play looked, because it was so good in the regular season, but struggled mightily last week. What adjustments do they make here?
Huge attack right now. Wenger, all kinds of speed. Backdoor feed. Vatu scores. Not how you want your power play to start off. A set play off the draw from the defensive zone. And that is a huge boost for this Tunnel Vision team.
Disastrous there for Straikers. You have an offensive zone face-off, a power play, all of the momentum in the world, and then you lose a face-off and allow Tunnel Vision to get a 2-on-1 directly after, and that is the last thing that you want to see right there for Straikers, but a perfect response and a much-needed one there for Tunnel Vision.
Absolutely, you can just feel the momentum shift, and they're not done. Counterattacking once again, and you see Straikers being a whole lot more cognizant on the defensive end. They cannot fall asleep again in that situation. Shot on by Nasistelia, gets blocked, and well, the power play already started off in a disastrous way, and they haven't been able to generate too much with it. One more rush trying to get themselves set up here. Eki takes his time with it, creeps in. Poinso across to Kempinen. His shot went a bit wide. I don't think Vatu has enough left in the tank to make that counterattack dangerous, but oh man, if he did, that could have been a breakaway.
That was close. Straikers got lucky on that one, because Vatu on a breakaway more times than not scoring. If he has the energy, he's gone.
Loose in front, and that will do it for the first period. So an excellent start by Straikers, but bit of a miscue right there, and asleep at the wheel on the beginning of their power play will make this game 2-1 headed into the break.
And Sin, those are small margins in this series that really do make the difference when you have two teams that are so close in terms of talent, they're so close in terms of play style. Those little plays are the ones that you can't afford. So for Straikers, obviously got to be happy with the way you started this game, have to be happy with a 2-1 lead, and the fact that Television really didn't have much offense to speak of outside of that one goal, but the one goal could end up being a big one because it came at a big point, it killed off the momentum, and now Television, just in terms of mentality, go from, man, this has been a disaster start to, okay, we're back in this one. We got a quick goal on them, and we caught them kind of sleeping at the wheel a bit there. So kind of an interesting shift now in mentality, but that's going to be the play I think that we're going to see them have to look out for. They're going to have to defend those posts because it seems like Straikers have found something that they're trying to attack there offensively.
Definitely. So we'll see what happens here in this second period. We continue on with game one of our first semifinals matchup. We'd like to thank our friends at Valokuitunen for their continued support for this ECL season. Turnover in the neutral zone. Dempinen with some space. I think he was thinking about doing the same thing again. He saw that puck shield coming out, but it was poked off his stick, and Tunnel Vision in possession now. Puck knocked loose in the neutral zone. Flyer Kungen and Nasusele trying to work it up to Poinso. He fails to get the pickup, and Tunnel Vision now looking for a controlled break-in. Good quick pass to Leitinen. He's looking great feeds right there. Vatu with an in-tight shot off, and we're going to see a power play now on the side of Tunnel Vision as Eki heads to the box.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate one there for Straikers because not only did you not be able to take advantage of your own power play, but now you take a penalty and your center is in the box after that trip. So here's a chance now for Tunnel Vision to go from kind of taking the momentum away from Straikers and evening it out to now taking it all for themselves and potentially tying this game. Big opportunity here.
Tunnel Vision win the draw. Get themselves set up quickly on the man advantage. Wenger to Leitinen, what a play right there, and a bigger save by Hanselinho. Wenger now to Vatu. Vatu's shot, another save by Hanselinho, but full pressure established now for Tunnel Vision. Another shot looking for the rebound there. Dangerous bounce. Hanselinho will find it and smother.
And we talked about it during the pregame, Straikers needing to disrupt the cycle. Obviously harder to do that when it's a penalty kill, but that's why. When Tunnel Vision get that cycle going, they just continue to pound, they continue to go, and it makes it so much more difficult to defend. It makes it so much more difficult to goaltend, especially now that they have full pressure to add on to it as well. And remember, it was Eki that was in the box, so you have a right winger on the face-off circle. Straikers going to use their timeout, and wisely so, to kill that full pressure off, but this is just going to show you what Tunnel Vision can do when they hem you in that defensive zone. They can really work that puck around, and sooner or later, they're going to find that way to put the puck in the back of the net.
Absolutely. So getting a look at that cycle game and just what was happening there. It's a very clear strategy from Tunnel Vision. Various one-timers, jam plays where they look for rebounds, passing plays where Leitinen was cutting in. I mean, it's just a very, very good power play. They win the face-off once more. Tombo now working along the point over to Wenger. He goes back to his defensive partner. Pikari now looking. Oh, that one nearly bounces in off of a skate in the slot, and I think it may have even hit off the post.
Yeah, and that's why that puck being in that area can be so dangerous. You just never know what can happen when it gets close to that blue paint. It can hit off a body, it can be tipped in. That's the danger of it. You almost saw it there firsthand.
Face-off technically won by Straikers, but Tunnel Vision will get it off the loose puck, sent in front. Nasustelia was there, he sends it up. Poinso coming out of the box soon as Eki, a nice quick shot on. Still loose in front, Dempinen tries to take another stab at it, but Bennu eventually gets to cover.
Yeah, there they went for that kind of post shot once again. Bennu, Johnny on the spot for that one, but that's a good penalty kill there for Straikers. They were able to weather the storm. Tunnel Vision had a spectacular power play, but just weren't able to break it past Hanselinho.
Face off one, Poinso with a quick shot. That one gets blocked, and a quick strike coming the other way now for Tunnel Vision. Leitinen bumped off the puck. Batu's pass disrupted, pinch from Tombo. He does keep the play alive. Batu has that one knifed away. And Straikers resetting in their own end, but you're seeing a bit of a forecheck coming out now for Tunnel Vision. That's a trip, however, and we're going to see Straikers power play go back to work. And we're feeling them a bit hesitant because while being 0 for 1 on their own power play, Tunnel Vision has their lone goal on the Straikers power play. So we're going to try to see what they can do with the extra man right here on the delayed call. The answer is not much. That puck is touched up, and once again, it's Leitinen headed to the box.
Yeah, I was going to say it was Leitinen that took the penalty last time, so maybe a good omen for Television. He did get their 1 goal the last time he took the penalty, but you see right there, just trying the forecheck, trying to be aggressive to cause that turnover, and just used the stick a little bit late. You saw Leitinen kind of was a little bit frustrated with himself, didn't skate there for a few seconds after he knew he took it, but Television's PK was spectacular last time, just got to do it again here.
Nasustelia back to Flyer Kungen. Straikers now taking their time. Dempinen trying to come up front, has Puanso there. The pass doesn't get through. Nasustelia, Flyer Kungen deflection, scores! A huge power play goal on the side of Straikers. Puanso with the net front gets credit with the goal.
And those are the types of plays that we've seen Straikers convert on so often over the years. They love to set up and cycle around for that tip play when they can't find that one-time or cross-crease option. You see it right there, a ton of traffic in front. Puanso right position to get his stick on that puck. Nothing you can do about that as a goaltender. Have to feel for Bennu on that one. And Straikers with the exact response they needed after allowing that goal. A 3-1 lead. They get their 2-goal lead back. And now just less time for Television to make something happen with it being at the halfway point this game.
Exactly what Straikers needed to capitalize on that power play. Get themselves the confidence back in the man advantage as well. That saucer pass just off the mark. And I actually thought Puanso was going to get the touch right there to get at least the whistle for the offside, but we're going to see a counterattack coming the other way. Leitinen now with the puck. Back to Wenger. Wenger trying to creep in there, but eventually runs into Nasustelia, loses the puck. Ill-advised pass, but great recovery there to get the shot block. But a breakout now turns to more zone time for Tunnel Vision. Trying to feed Leitinen. Eki has it now. Trying to navigate his way to a safe area with that puck. Does get the pass away to Flyer Kungen, but that Tunnel Vision forecheck right now is looking deadly.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's it. I don't think Straikers really was anticipating it. It's given them a lot of trouble a couple of times now.
A net drive right there. The puck eventually bounces loose to Hanselinho, and he will get the cover.
Yeah, and I think you have to give Tunnel Vision credit because they are a team that can both play back as a 5-man unit and trap where they can apply the pressure and forecheck, and they might lean towards that.
Quick shot on right there. Leitinen plays it back up top to the point. Dempinen takes that one away, and we're seeing Straikers have to be very careful navigating their way out of the zone with this aggressive forecheck coming in. Good pass by Puanso to Dempinen. Tried that net drive play again, but it was taken away by the defense. Could be a counterattack possibility here. Puanso with the puck. Little bit of space. Stops up in the corner. Back up top. Flyer Kungen's shot. Hits off a body. The Straikers can't get that loose puck. Vatu on the counterattack now. Has Wenger. Wenger in the corner. Down low to Leitinen. Puck knocked loose and collected by Nasustelia. And another nice pinch there from Tombo. Disrupts the counterattack of Straikers. We are less than a minute left in this second period here. Still a 2-goal lead on the side of Straikers. Over to Vatu. His shot is saved by Hanselinho.
Yeah, and I think you have to give Hanselinho a lot of credit as well. We haven't talked about him much so far here in this game, but he has stepped up and made a few big saves when Tunnel Vision have pressured, which I think they've gotten the most of the pressure for the most part here over the last 20 minutes, so a lot of credit to him for the way he has stood tall in that.
Face-off one on the side of Tunnel Vision. Straikers just trying to get this one out. Maybe one more rush chance. They get it up to Nasustelia. He tries to feed it to Dempinen. It's deflected off a skate, and that will end the second period. Straikers in the driver's seat with a score of 3-1.
Yeah, the shot on net may have been a little bit better there for Straikers at the end of that period just because there wasn't a lot of space there for that pass, but hard to really nitpick about what they did because they're up 3-1 and they were able to get that tip goal to extend their lead, a massive goal that you kind of knew that next goal when it was 2-1 was going to really be a big dictator on which way the rest of this game could potentially swing. you go from tunnel vision maybe being in a tie situation and it being 2-2 to now them being in a situation where they really have to climb themselves out of a hole. And they did get the better of Straikers in that second period in terms of time, in terms of opportunities, but now just being down by 2 kind of forces you a little bit to be more aggressive than you would ideally like to be, and it forces Straikers to be put in a position to where they're going to have to make mistakes for them to come back in this game. So an interesting dynamic and a big reason why that third goal was such a massive one for Straikers to get.
Absolutely. So third period about to get underway between Straikers and Tunnel Vision. Tunnel Vision need 2 to tie it. They're a very, very potent offensive squad, so Straikers going to have to be very careful, especially as we've seen just how aggressive that Tunnel Vision forecheck has been. Eki now sent down low to Puanso. Eki has it behind the net, has to send it back up top. Nasustelia not quite ready for it. So they'll have to go all the way back into their own end. That's going to give Tunnel Vision a chance to maybe start cutting out some of these breakout passes. Well done by Nasustelia to evade the pressure. And Eki takes it into the corner. Down low now. Dempinen, though, loses as he tries to move it. Tunnel Vision back in possession through the neutral zone. Vatu, drop pass for Tombo. Tombo gets drilled right there along the point. Maybe an injury. Indeed it is. Straikers force that puck loose and do eventually get it out of their zone, but they are having some trouble even getting across the center ice line right now. Is just the sheer aggression coming out from Tunnel Vision. They try to force that puck through, but it was picked up. Now a counterattack there, but Ponso's pass goes off the skate and leads to an offside.
I think now Straikers in a situation where they're going to start thinking more and more about the time, and you're seeing Tunnel Vision really continue to apply that forecheck. Is going to be important that their breakouts are clean. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to maybe go up as more of a 5-man unit to give those defenders more quick and easy passes for options on the breakout. We saw the Blackjacks utilize that against Valokuitunen's forecheck. Don't be surprised if you see Straikers maybe try to adjust their strategy on the breakout to not have those turnovers, because that's really the one thing you can't do up by 2. You want to try to kill clock. You can't give Tunnel Vision those easy opportunities when they cause turnovers on the breakout.
Tombo now in possession for Tunnel Vision. They get themselves set up in the offensive zone, but nice bump there by Eki. Knock him off the puck. Counterattack is immediately stifled, though, in the neutral zone. Tunnel Vision do get that puck in. Lehtinen trying that one more pass to Vatu. Well defended, though, by Straikers. Nasustelia has to take a lot of time with it, going back and forth, trying to find the space. And the defenseman pinch up. Wenger knocks the puck loose. Tunnel Vision back in possession. Dempinen thought about taking a race for that puck, but at this point for Straikers, you can tell it's defense first. And they're doing a good job of it, not really allowing Tunnel Vision to get themselves established the way that they want to in the offensive zone. Flyer Kungen can't get the pass away in time. It does lead to an offside, but 8:50 left. Still a 2-goal lead for Straikers.
And Sin, you mentioned the defense first approach. It kind of looks similar to what we saw from them in that first period before Tunnel Vision got that one goal. Remember, the goal came on a rush on the penalty kill for Tunnel Vision, so we've yet to see them really score from just a created offensive zone opportunity. It was on the rush where Tunnel Vision got their one goal, so the defense has been stellar really all game for Straikers, and now they're just doubling down on it, knowing that they have that lead, knowing that the time is their friend.
Now Straikers have it in the offensive zone, trying to get themselves established, get a cycle going, maybe kill off some more time and get a chance, but it's turnover here. Lehtinen over to Wenger. Wenger one time to Vatu, they score! And that's exactly why you see Straikers hesitant to forecheck, hesitant to commit too many bodies down low, because the Tunnel Vision counterattack comes out and they've made this a 1-goal game.
And again, that's kind of similar to what we saw Straikers struggle with against Unwanted a week ago, was on the counterattack, to where Unwanted were able to just get quick opportunities and get that high-end danger chance to score on. That's exactly what Tunnel Vision do here. It wasn't from a cycle, it wasn't from a sustained offensive zone attack, it was from getting their way past the defense and finding a quick chance on the counter. That's exactly what they do there, and now, new life for them.
And it's tied. A rough turnover by Nasu Stelia right there as he tried to work that one up the boards. Vatu takes it and scores.
That's huge. That is absolutely huge, and he just beats Hantalino on that glove hand side, and man, how quickly this game has turned, Sid. I mean, Tunnel Vision, give them a lot of credit for the way that they have been able to take advantage of counterattacks, but some critical mistakes here down the stretch for Straikers that you know they are not going to be happy with. Could have closed this game out up by 2 if that's a 7 to go, and in less than 2 minutes now, they're tied, and Tunnel Vision with all the momentum. You see them now kind of backing off. Feels like this game has shifted here.
It absolutely has. From a momentum standpoint, it feels that way. Tunnel Vision now back in possession. Nice sauce pass to Vatu. Tombo now, his shot blocked. Can't remember the last time we've seen a really good Straikers chance on net. Eki with a low shot there. Has it behind. Nasu Stelia goes back to Eki. Eki's pass to Puanso off the mark. Dempeted wraparound bid right there for Eki, and he hits the side of the net. That happened in a flash. It just couldn't capitalize on it. Eki once again looking like they're trying the same sort of play. Puck knocked loose into Bennu. We are now in that last final minute of real time.
Yeah, and remember, it is that full-time minute now, so it's going to be interesting. There's going to be a lot of time for Straikers to try to get something here in the offensive zone, or for Tunnel Vision to try to counterattack once again. That's where all 3 of their goals have come from, and one of them were from the defensive zone here, so a lot of time left, and a lot can still happen.
Puck being a hot potato right there in Tunnel Vision's own end. They finally do get that out, but quick turnover here in a 3-on-2 developing for Straikers. Dempinen has to take his time. They score! Broken play. The pass was for Puanso. Hits something. Eki grabs it and tucks it home. Huge response goal from Straikers.
And how about Straikers playing a little bit of Tunnel Vision's own game right there? The counter-attack on the rush. That's how they get that goal, and it's once again the 5-hole of Bennu. I don't think there's really as much he could have done about that one. A bit of a funny bounce, hard to track that puck and react in time, but man, a huge goal for Straikers, but a lot of time left here, Sin.
Yeah, they're going to want to try to possess this puck, get that puck in deep, and get themselves set back, but quick turnover right here. Tunnel Vision still have over 30 seconds to work with. The hard around pass. Wenger has it on the point now. Tombo navigates the blue line, takes a quick shot on. Was sticked into the corner. Smart play by Puanso. That will lead. No, it won't go for an icing. Maybe it deflect off something? I'm not too sure, but net being emptied now on the side of Tunnel Vision. Tombo on the point now. Has to be careful walking the tightrope. Lightning. A shot. They're looking just for that rebound play as Bennu has the net front. And that will do it. Time expires. Straikers get a huge win here in game number 1 in a back-and-forth affair against Tunnel Vision.
And it wasn't pretty for them towards the end, but they were able to escape with the victory still, and I still would really love to see that clear out to see if it hit off of someone from Tunnel Vision, because that looked like a clear icing, and that was a big shift because it took Tunnel Vision about 10 or 15 seconds to get back into the offensive zone. Bennu also had to come into the play as he had pulled, so that was a massive call, but nevertheless, give Straikers a lot of credit. They were down. It could have been easy for them to lose their way and allow Tunnel Vision to come in and steal this game number 1 after they were down, but nevertheless, Straikers able to take care of business, and who else but Eki to finish the job and get the game-winning goal on that final play. So props to Straikers. Wasn't pretty for them at the end, but they took care of business, and at the end of the day, that 1-0 lead is not going to change from how they got it. Just a matter that they got the job done there to get that victory.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a few moments in that game that they're not particularly proud of. Of course, you know, giving up that shorthanded goal, allowing Tunnel Vision to get those 2 quick goals in succession. That second, you know, that last one especially off of a pretty brutal turnover in their own end. So definitely some stuff to clean up, but it's huge that they were able to get the win. And a lot of that has to do with they were playing in the driver's seat for a lot of that game. You could see right there, it goes off of, I want to say that was, yeah, it was Wenger's stick who was kind of back-checking right there. And it goes straight to Eki.
Yeah, it is. You're making the right play there.
Yeah, that's just kind of how it goes. That's why so many teams are, passing through the middle, and it's just kind of how it goes sometimes in NHL 24. You got to earn your breaks, and in that one, Straikers, huge game 1 victory. So we'll be setting the stage for game number 2 after a brief word from our sponsors.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi. Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
All right, we thank you guys for sticking with us here as game number 2 about to get underway between Straikers and Tunnel Vision. Of course, the first game 4-3 in regulation in favor of Straikers really came down to the wire as Tunnel Vision had that really good late push.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be some things that both of these teams want to adjust on from that game 1. I don't think either side really played their ideal game, at least not to their expectation and their standard, but it's just game number 1, a lot of series left to go, but the last game for these two of today, so we're going to try to end it on a positive note. The last thing you want to do is be down 2-0 if you're Tunnel Vision here, so a lot on the line here in this game. You know they're going to really look to push the issue to try to tie the series going into tomorrow.
Quick possession through the neutral zone. They do get it on the offensive end of things, but quick turnover there as Ponzo forces it. You're seeing a forecheck coming in, not as aggressive as it was at the tail end of last game, but that is part of Tunnel Vision's strategy to try to create some havoc. 4 Straikers on the breakout. Huge slap pass up the ice. Drop pass to Pikari from Vatu. He now has it back along the half wall, trying to go down low. Pikari and Vatu working it. Pass across to no one. Wenger will collect it on the point. But Tunnel Vision already getting their cycle game going. Tombo over to his defensive partner, Wenger. Thought about the shot. Now pass to Vatu. They score! And that is the danger of the Tunnel Vision cycle. They get a quick goal here in the first period.
Yeah, and that's the first time this series we've really seen Tunnel Vision take advantage of that cycle and get a goal-scoring opportunity from it. A lot of times it's been on the counterattack from Straikers' mistakes, but this time they're able to hem Straikers in their own zone. They move that puck around, and as we talked about earlier, wait for that one grand opportunity where they have that space to shoot. They take advantage of it and get the opening goal of this game.
So Straikers now going to have to look for a response of their own. Of course, we heard in the interview from Tombo just how important the first goal of each game is. Straikers scored first last game. They get the win. And now Tunnel Vision have struck first, but Straikers in on the attack and a couple quick shots on. Eki goes down low to Puanzo. Puanzo to Nasu Steli. I'm not too sure if that one was blocked, but a heck of a chance there for Straikers who now have full pressure. Dumpinen to Puanzo, his pass off the back of the net, and Eki collects it. And now a counterattack going. He was bumped off the puck. I thought for a second Straikers sent 2 guys in to go collect that puck, and it looked like both of them missed it. And Tunnel Vision have it in the offensive zone now. Vatu looking for Pikari right there, cutting across the net, but the pass just had a little bit too much heat on it, and Pikari couldn't handle it. Shot on by Tombo again. Taken away. Nice long saucer pass. Eki has to cut to the outside to avoid the defensive stick backdoor feed. Huge save by Bennu.
That's what they need there from Bennu. That's a big save from him right there.
Now resetting in their own end, Straikers. Good amount of momentum on their side now as they look for a tying goal. Ponsa between the legs shot. He's thinking about a pass first, but Dempinen not in great position. He took the shot instead. Tunnel Vision having to collect it in their own end once more. Wenger the Tombo as they navigate their way through the neutral zone. Leitinen stops near the point. They are able to get that one in. Vatu tries a shot, and now a counterattack coming. 3-on-2 for Straikers. Drop pass. Flyer Kungen. Errant pass there towards the center of the ice. No one home. And Straikers will have to reset in the neutral zone. 5 minutes remaining in the first period. Eki fails to gain the line. Could see a counterattack now on the side of Tunnel Vision. But it's stifled at the opposing blue line. Eki over to Puanzo. Nice give and go right there. The backhand shot on. Bennu makes the save and covers.
And you're starting to see Straikers find their offense a little bit here after their earlier struggles in this period. But Bennu, once again, standing tall. And we heard it earlier how big goaltending would be in this series. We talked about it earlier. You're seeing it step up right now for Tunnel Vision.
They have a counterattack going, possibly a 3-on-2 if they hurry. Good back check there. A nice shot on and a better save by Hanselinho. Leightonen's pass goes all the way back. Tunnel Vision will have to collect it in their own end. Couple poke checks right there, but puck got knocked loose. Vatu still the one to get to it. Tunnel Vision setting up their cycle. Leihtonen from the corner goes up top. Wenger has it now. Taking their time with it, not forcing any shot through that they don't quite like. 5 seconds remaining though. Now Vatu can't get that shot away. Pikuri one more time, blocker to side, and that will do it for the first period. Tunnel Vision strike first and maintain that 1-0 lead.
Yeah, and it was early on in this period where they were able to do it, and it was off of a really good cycle that they were able to get going as well. So ideal start for Tunnel Vision. Not as ideal of a start for Straikers, but I like the way they ended that period. I think they shored up a little bit more defensively. I think they were able to find more offensive chances when they were over there. Just were denied time and time again by Bennu. And give a lot of credit to Hanselinho on the other side as well, because a couple of big saves, including what looked like was going to be one there, but looked like that was actually the goal. It was a save that he made that was on the glove side a little bit earlier that looked like it was going to be a sure goal that he was able to rob Tunnel Vision of. But nevertheless, I think a good period from both sides, but Tunnel Vision just able to find that one goal.
See there just how close Straikers were to getting that tying marker. That pass over to Poinso was really a thing of beauty, as we're actually having an early pause right here, and it's on the side of Straikers. So they will not have access to that.
Out.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, we're having a drop right now. So unfortunately, we're going to have to get a reset on the books and try to figure out what these two teams are going to do. I'm not too sure if they're going to let the first period run, since it only is one period. We do know, especially with the last minute of real time being back, no longer just the last 30 seconds, it is probably important to have that third period in there. We'll see what these two teams want to do, but for now, we're going to throw it to a quick break as they get things sorted.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi. Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
All right, so here we are, finally back here. Now what the two teams did is drain the time of the first period as well as putting one goal on the board, so we will have accurate scoreboard and an accurate timeline here. So the second period now getting underway between Straikers and Tunnel Vision in this game 2. Eki sends it all the way down. Nice one-touch pass by Ponso all the way to the point. Now Dempinen trying to get that one through, lost it in the slot, and a counterattack coming now on the side of Tunnel Vision. Tunnel Vision now, they score! Pass by Vatu, finds Pikari, he puts it home on the backhand. Tunnel Vision have a 2-0 lead.
And how about that there from Tunnel Vision? Didn't take long after Straikers looked like they were going to pounce early in the second period after the stoppage. They come right back on the other end, get a beautiful play there. Nice job there between the two forwards to make that one happen. And that's what we've come to expect from Tunnel Vision. You just never know when they're going to strike. They're able to get those quick counterattacks. They do so again there. They extend their lead to 2.
Bouncing puck right there, sticked away by Benno. So seeing the forecheck coming out from Straikers, they're going to have to be a lot more aggressive now with their forechecking, which could open up a heck of a lot more counterattacks on the side of Tunnel Vision, but Straikers really have no choice here. Ponso takes that one in, hands it off with Eki. Nasustelia with a shot, looking for deflection, but Bennu makes the save.
Yeah, and that was a good point, Sin, that you mentioned. Now with Straikers being down by 2 and time starting to go, they're going to have to be more aggressive, and it is sort of a double-edged sword because this Tunnel Vision do have that ability to counter and make something happen. We've seen it from them 3 or 4 times already today, so kind of that thing for Straikers where it does make you be a little more hesitant even though you can't afford to be.
So now Flyer Kungen, he takes a shot, some space on that glove side, but didn't quite have the aim right, and Bennu makes an easy save.
And, easy save there for Bennu, but I think for Straikers, at least you get into the offensive zone. You get an offensive zone face-off with Eki, who's been one of the better face-off leaders so far this season. So, unfortunately, weren't able to capitalize on it, but I don't mind that play. You get the shot on net and maybe give yourself an opportunity for more chances down the line. Just win that face-off so you can keep it in the zone.
Good turnover forced by Straikers. Eki navigates on the breakout. Nasustelia jumping up into the play. He'll get it down low to Ponso. His pass to Dempinen doesn't quite go, and we're seeing some struggles here from Straikers to get themselves established in the offensive end. As a 3-on-2 by Tunnel Vision, well defended by Flyer Kungen to disrupt that last pass to Vatu. And a counterattack now for Straikers. Eki tries a toe drag. Likely looking to shoot off the back end of that, but he's unable to get that away as another short side pass intercepted by Tunnel Vision, and thought about counterattacking, but they're going to slow things down as the way forward didn't look so hot. Tombo's pass intercepted. Eki now passes over to Flyer Kungen. He has to slow up as the other two forwards went offside briefly. Flyer Kungen's pass goes awry. There's a forecheck coming out from Straikers, but they can't knock that puck loose. Having a hard time finding the offense here. Set all the way down, won't go for icing. Nice forecheck by Eki. Cuts off the pass, but then he loses the puck off of the skate of, I think it was Vatu up there. And that's just an unfortunate break for Straikers at a time where they could use some positive ones. Eki now takes it in once again, into the corner, now to Dempinen. Dempinen taking his time. Eki with the puck. He looks for the wraparound. Loose in front, but Tunnel Vision the first to the puck, and they're coming back on the counterattack. Leitinen now slows up. Nice bit of L-skating, taking it into the corner. Pikari now to Vatu, bumped from behind. And a 3-on-2 now for Straikers with some time and space. Flyer Kungen has that one poked away. And that's a missed opportunity for Straikers.
But a great defensive recovery there by Tunnel Vision. They had the 3-on-2 to Straikers, but really Tunnel Vision never gave them that open lane to take advantage of it, so they might have not had the numbers, but they had the positioning.
Nearly a goal there by Leitonen. He was poked from behind. And Straikers able to stay out of a larger hole here. But time winding down in this second period. They need a strike quick. There's that coming out play right there from behind the net by Dempinen. And now a penalty taken for Straikers. I think it might be Poinso headed to the box. I saw some rapid poke checks there in the neutral zone. Offside here. And it will be the power play now for Tunnel Vision.
Yeah, it's going to be Eki in the box. That's the second time he has taken a penalty so far here in this series. But, you know, give some credit there to Tunnel Vision for being able to really make Straikers seemingly uncomfortable. They haven't really found a lot offensively. The defense has been caught lacking a couple of times. They haven't been able to take much advantage of their offensive end. It feels like Straikers are really kind of out of their element. They have to give Tunnel Vision a lot of credit for really making that happen with the way they started this game and have continued to really impose their will on Straikers. And until Straikers respond, going to continue this way.
5 seconds remaining. One more rush for Tunnel Vision. Slow it up, and that will do it. So at least for Straikers, you know, you're able to split up the power play across 2 different periods, but at the same time, you're still down by 2. You're heading into the third. Your opponent's on the power play. Straikers are really running out of time. It's going to have to come into desperation mode for them, I think, Brandon.
Yeah, and I think that we're going to have to see Straikers get a little bit more aggressive, kind of similar to what we saw Tunnel Vision do in game number 1, because right now, nothing really is working for them in their own game anyways. I mean, I know Tunnel Vision and them, the stats rather even, but I think that in terms of the eye test, Tunnel Vision have definitely been the better team so far in this game, and I don't think Straikers have been bad necessarily, but I don't think they have been good enough to beat a team similar to Tunnel Vision. It just feels like they've not really found their stride just yet in this game, and it's getting to the point where it's getting a little bit late to adjust. So we'll see what they do here, but nevertheless, we'll see what happens.
So here we go, third period between Tunnel Vision and Straikers. Tunnel Vision a 2-0 lead in this game. Straikers the 1-0 lead in the series. A little bit of carryover time for Tunnel Vision on the power play. We won't see it on the clock, but it was about a minute and a half. They should be down to just about a minute here. Nice poke check by Poinso to send them back into the neutral zone. And this is why you're seeing the advantage that can come from splitting the power play across 2 different periods, starting that neutral zone. Nasustellian nearly had a breakaway there a couple moments ago, but he unfortunately was going for another bump and shot the puck down. But Tunnel Vision do get established here at the tail and looking for that quick cut pass to Leitonen. We saw them do that on the power play in the last game. They didn't quite execute, but that's a dangerous look.
Yes, and that's one that Straikers cannot afford to give up, but also kind of pointing out something you mentioned about the power play, with it being at the end of the first or second period, there's also that last minute that goes a little bit quicker, so really less time that Straikers had to kill off, and now they get Eki out of the box for 5-on-5, so a tough penalty to take, but not the worst time to take it considering that quick time as well.
Quick counterattack now for Tunnel Vision. The pass over to Leitonen. They tried to slow up in that higher zone for the one-timer, but well read by Straikers to disrupt that. You can see Tumbo just being well back in there, you know, on the rush. They don't want to get burned. They don't want to give up anything easy on these counterattacks. Poinso now to Eki. Eki to Dempinen. He has that one taken away, and oh, that's a great bump by Flyer. Who can maybe stop the partial breakaway there. Dempinen bodied off again, and it's been a struggle for the forwards of Straikers to really be able to gain that line. I'm noticing that Dempinen and Poinso in particular really kind of struggle with making plays quickly. Turnover, they score! Tunnel Vision finds what may be the dagger off a turnover, and Leitonen makes no mistake.
And again, I mean, similar to what we saw in game 1, a turnover for Straikers that you can't afford. A nice job from Tunnel Vision, ramping up the aggression and forcing that turnover with that forecheck. And there you go, they take advantage of it yet again. And who else but Leitonen to step up and get another goal for his team? That's, I believe, what, his 3rd or 4th goal of the series already. So he's been massive, but again, just the uncomfortability seemingly of Straikers on both ends really costing them, but Television takes a penalty. Maybe this could be what Straikers needed to get something going here. That power play has been really, really rough for them so far in these playoffs.
Yeah, they needed to come through right here as that's Tombo headed to the box, captain and defenseman on the side of Tunnel Vision. So that's going to force a forward to play on the defensive side. I believe Leitinen, as he is the right winger. And indeed, he is back there. So we'll see what's going to happen here. But Straikers need to find something on this power play. They don't quite get the puck off the face-off, and they'll have to reset all the way in their own end. But you saw Tunnel Vision going for that push play off the face-off to try to get the quick counterattack. How they scored that shorthanded goal in the first game. Tampinen with a glorious chance, but he cannot settle the puck off of his skate and to his stick, and he couldn't get the shot away.
Yeah, and that was a big opportunity there. Bennu was not there for that because of that quick pass, but as you mentioned, just not able to gather that puck was Puanzo, and by the time he did, Bennu right in position to make that save. It's just been one of those games, it feels like, for Straikers, where even when they have had a golden chance, they haven't been able to get it.
Tampinen shot right there, saved by Bennu. As they got in quickly there, we got another shot on, but that's something that we've been kind of noticing here as well. When they need a face-off win, Eki has been kind of struggling in the dot. Pikari has gotten the better of him so far. We'll see just what will happen. Only 50 seconds remaining on the man advantage. Yet another win on the side of Pikari. Just mixing it up. You got a push, you got a stick lift. He just won forehand straight. But Straikers are able to get things set up. That dangerous bounce towards the front. But one final clear for Tunnel Vision as they got possession. Will do it. And you see Tombo heading out of the box, getting himself into position. They're running at what looks like kind of a 1-4 trap in their own end as Straikers are pushing for offense. Dempinen gets taken out. Eki will get the puck. Dempinen looks injured, actually, or maybe, I'm assuming it's an injury, but also, it's not L1ing to get out of that, so it could be also just a very winded get-up. Nonetheless, he's back to full stamina now and has the puck. Offside, unfortunately, though, so yet another counterattack of Straikers goes by the wayside.
Yeah, and Sin, it feels like it's getting late early right now for Straikers, isn't it? I mean, 8:45 to go, nothing on offense, nothing on the power play. It just feels like the longer this goes on, the more likely it seems like Tunnel Vision are going to tie the series up at 1.
A quick chance coming back to the way was stifled by Straikers, and they now have a counterattack of their own. Nasustelia looking for the rebound. Doesn't quite go. Another shot from the side of the cage. The Straikers at this point throwing everything on, but as for that rebound play, I would have liked to maybe see that break them out a little bit earlier. That being said, hold on. Leitinen breakaway poked from behind by Valokuitunen. Fantastic defensive play, but will it matter at the end of all things? 2 spins by Nasustelia, another one for Puanzo. And they don't get a shot out of that offensive zone possession. Combo now across to Vatu. Well handled by Hanselinho. He made that one look easy, but that was an all puck tracking play. Eki, quick shot. And Straikers get one back. They're now only down by 2 with just over 4 minutes remaining.
Wow. On a snipe to break the shutout from Bennu from a really odd angle. You don't see the shot put on from that angle very far. He went, I believe, top right corner there.
No,
yeah,
it's off
top
the pad
left
and goes
corner
in.
there. Hits off the pad and goes in. Good either. So, you know, that kind of is just the benefit of putting the puck on net. You never really know what will happen. And for Eki, he got a nice bounce. Unfortunate for Bennu, but for Straikers, exactly what they needed. You cut it to 2, and with 4:11 left, that's a good amount of time to still get 2 goals. So this is still a game. Don't get up just yet, guys.
Eki gets it back after the turnover in the neutral zone. Valokuitunen now knifed off his stick. Both Vatu and Leitinen there to put the pressure on, and these are just little turnovers that the Straikers can't afford to make. They need a quick goal before they get into that last minute of real time, preferably, to really give themselves the best chance. Valokuitunen, Nasustelia's shot was blocked, and they can't retrieve the loose puck. Tunnel Vision coming back the other way. Vatu does get it after a bouncing puck. Sends it low to Pikari. He'll send it low one more time, but no one home. And Straikers having to come back. Good ahead of steam by Poinso. He's looking in front, loose. Tempinen scores! Another goal for Straikers. They're now only down by 1 with time on the clock.
And all of a sudden, things have gotten real interesting here. And remember, Straikers still have a timeout. So if they do get in the offensive zone, or if there is a point where they need a little bit of energy, they do still have that at their disposal. But once again, just getting the puck in a dangerous area, you never know what can happen. Able to win that puck battle there was Tempinen, and he gets it past Bennu. So Straikers starting to find something by just throwing it on net and hoping that something sticks. It's working for him.
45 seconds remaining. That one sent all the way down. Goes for icing here, so an offensive zone draw. Eki has had some trouble here, especially in this third period winning draws. This is a must-win, Brandon.
Yeah, you feel like he has to win. You wonder if he maybe goes for a tie-up, knowing that he struggled in this game.
See what happens off the draw. Straight up won by Pikari again. Good turnover forced though. Tempinen, Eki, loose in front. Tempinen has it. Tries to throw it back in on, taken away. About 30 seconds remaining. And Straikers still in possession. It goes in! Eki's pass towards the front of the net finds its way in off the pad of Bennu, and Straikers from 3-0 down roar all the way back to tie this game.
Absolutely insane turn of events, and it all happened in about 6 in-game minutes. From 3-0 down, Tunnel Vision looked well on their way to tying this series at 1 apiece, and then once again, Straikers just throwing it on net, hoping that something sticks, and they tie it with all 3 of those goals, but still 20 seconds and Tunnel Vision in possession here.
They're gonna look for a counterattack to get a goal of their own, but it goes offside right there. You can see the frustration coming out by Wenger there. What a turn of events. What was looking like a Straikers team that were dead in the water now have tied it all up. All goals coming in the third period here. I believe all of the goals coming with less than 10 minutes on the clock as well. Yeah. Just huge performance by them. As maybe Straikers are going to be able to get one more, but they're unable to get that last shot on, and frustrated Tunnel Vision team, they have to be after that kind of breakdown in the third period.
Yeah, and you know, you kind of feel for Tunnel Vision because I don't really think there's much you can do about 2 of those goals. The first goal by Eki just kind of puts it on. Bennu makes a partial save, but it bounces off of the top of his pad and up to the top shelf, and then that last goal is just a pass across that hits in off of Bennu's back pad and in. So unfortunate bounces, but nevertheless, I think you give Straikers some credit because they changed up their strategy out of desperation. They decided to start throwing it on net instead of looking for those quick passing plays, and it has worked for them so far. As there is another look at it, it literally just kind of skated its way up. The puck did up Bennu's pad, blocker, stick, a little bit of everything, and went in. So now the question is, how do you rebound in overtime? Because this is a massive one. If Straikers go up 2-0 in the series compared to 1-1, it feels like this series has a completely different tone going into Wednesday. So you have to let those past 3 goals go and just focus on the task at hand. Focus on getting that next goal. That is the priority for Tunnel Vision right now.
They are in possession off the opening draw as overtime gets underway. Something that I'm sure Tunnel Vision were not expecting to have to deal with, and they're still looking a bit unraveled here as an early offside. We'll put the face-off back in the neutral zone.
This is when strong mentality and composure really showed themselves.
Straikers gain possession off the draw. Taking their time with it, looking for a clean attacking lane. They get it to Poinso. They gain the line, but his secondary pass tried to go through 2 defenders right there. Bit ill-advised, and that's going to feed a counterattack of Tunnel Vision. Tombo now along the point as Tunnel Vision get their cycle set up. Wenger over to Pikari. Doesn't have the shooting angle. And now Poinso coming back the other way after the turnover. Takes it into the corner. Up top, Nasustelia goes back to Poinso. Around to Tempinen. Dempinen, Nasustelia couldn't get the shot away. Could be a dangerous counterattack now. Lehtinen, though, forced to slow up as Flyerkungen cut across. Doesn't like what he sees, so just take his time with it. Allow some of the team to get their stamina back. Dempinen now. Eki, back to Dempinen. To Eki! Oh, what a save by Bennu! Down and out, somehow got back to make the save. Straikers, though, full pressure, still swarming. Turned over right there and chipped out by Lehtinen.
I am stunned. That was shades of Unique. What a save by Bennu. If Tunnel Vision wins this game, bookmark that. That was the one that kept them alive.
Wenger now in possession, kicks it over to Tombo. They do gain the line, but only momentarily as Eki picks it up off the loose puck. Taking their time with it, trying to surgically make their way into the offensive zone. Flyerkungen does have it. His pass, though, knocked off a stick. I believe it was Lehtinen's, and they have to reset one more time. Good pass up to Eki. Some time, some space. Dempinen, loose in front. A lot of contact, though, with Eki. And I feel like if that one went in, probably would have been called back.
Yeah, I thought that would have counted if it had gone in, but man, how big has Bennu been? And I think that his offense has got to give him some help. It's been a while since we've seen Tunnel Vision really establish the offensive zone. They've been great with winning defensive zone faceoffs, but it feels like they're having the struggles that Straikers had earlier, establishing the zone and getting anything going. You see it again right there. Just nothing working on the breakout. Everything's halted right at that blue line.
Good pass right there, but Eki has to kind of peel back out of the zone. And Tunnel Vision in possession once more. 7.5 minutes remaining here in this first overtime period. Tunnel Vision finally trying to get themselves established. That one thrown towards the net. And Hanselino has to smother it.
Boy, with the way this game has gone, it wouldn't have surprised me that that would have been the goal to find its way being the winner. But remember the faceoffs, Picardi, he's been good on these zone faceoffs, defensive end and offensive end. Nasustelia
here off the faceoff win by Eki. Good passing play through the neutral zone. Drop pass there from Dempinen. Eki now to Puanso, trying to go for that short side play, but Tunnel Vision all over that, as they have been for the majority of these two games. But it's such an effective team, you can understand why, such an effective play, you can understand why teams will go back for it. Turnover now. Tunnel Vision counterattacking. Everyone jumping up into the action. Tombo now to Vatu. Banger creeps in, takes a shot, looking for the backdoor feed right there. And that was nearly a dangerous opportunity. A little bit of scramble defense there from Straikers. They are able to slow things down, get a controlled zone exit, but the zone entry fails. And Tunnel Vision coming back the other way. Vatu now. With some space, looking to kind of slide that one home on the short side. It went off the side of the net. Missed pass right there. That one goes all the way back, but it will go for icing, so an offensive zone face-off with 1:49 remaining. And you feel like it's going to just be that one random shot on net that finds its way in that will be the winner. You saw Tunnel Vision start to get a few opportunities on the other end. We've seen Straikers really pounce in this period so far. It feels like we aren't going to expect win, but it's going to be that one random shot. It was a nice counterattack off the draw by Tunnel Vision, but Vatu didn't like what he saw, slowed things down. Piccoli trying to feed the slot right there. That one was poked just wide. Dempinen now to Eki. Now Puanso. Gets it to Eki behind the net. Straikers trying to look for their opportunities here, but they're just not getting the time and space they want. Tunnel Vision keeps forcing these turnovers. Kind of wondering why Straikers aren't going back to the mentality they had at the tail end of the third period, what gave them the tie. And that was just kind of throwing things on or towards the net. Yeah, I agree with you, Sin, that I don't really like that change of mentality because it worked for you and it got you to this point, so why stop it? Just because you've tied it doesn't mean you need to stop doing it, because at the end of the day, you still have to get the win. You don't get points for going to overtime. It has to be a win, so I would continue to do what worked for me to get back into this game, and it's a little surprising to see Straikers once again be hesitant to throw the puck on net, because that's what even got them in this situation to begin with. 10 seconds remaining here in this first overtime. Eki can't get his way through, and that's a good desperation play right there. Does go for icing, so there will be one more face-off with 4.1 remaining.
But again, it feels like both Bigardi and Eki have struggled on offensive zone face-off, so it makes you wonder, will Straikers be able to get a play off of this?
They get the tie-up, but Leitonen beats Puanzo to the puck. That will do it for the first overtime period between Straikers and Tunnel Vision. This is a huge, huge moment of this series. If Tunnel Vision go down 2-0, it's going to be tough to come back against the Striker teams, especially considering they had a 3-goal lead at one point in this game, Brandon.
Yeah, I mean, this feels like a, not to be over dramatic, because we've seen so many times where 2-0 series can easily be relinquished, but it feels like this could be a potentially series-altering game for both these two sides. Strikers down 3-0 late in the third period. I think there was 7 minutes left when they were down 3-0 in the third, and they come in and get those 3 goals late, and it's gonna feel like a lost opportunity for Tunnel Vision in a game that really did they let slip away, so to speak. But they don't have to worry about that, because they do still have this overtime period. The opportunity to win this game is still there, and if you tie it 1-1, you go into Wednesday, I feel like, with a much different mentality and a much different look on this series compared to being down 2-0. It takes a little bit of that pressure off you, and it makes your job a little bit easier going into 2 or 3 days time. So this is a massive overtime, and one that could very well completely alter the complexion of the way we view this series in a couple of days.
Second overtime now getting underway. Tunnel Vision winning it off the draw, looking for that quick play up the middle. And they can't execute. Now Strikers will have the puck. Valokuitunen. Now Puanzo with an in-tight shot there. Quick little bang-bang passing play. Down low to Tempinen, who fed Puanzo, but they're unable to get the goal.
And remember, earlier on in game 1, there was those in-tight shots that beat Bennu, so nice to see him be able to make that save, but you see Strikers going for that there yet again.
Tie up on the draw. Puanzo does get possession. Has Eki. He's going to be swarmed right there by 2 different defensemen. Once again, every time they go behind the net right here, you're seeing both Tombo and Wenger cut off the puck carry and oftentimes forcing that turnover. Vatu now gets bumped off the puck. Tempinen will get it on the side of Strikers. He slows up across the line, has it poked away. Once again, just back and forth action here. Neither team really able to get any sort of momentum going. He will slow things up, kick it back to the defenseman for them to lead the break-in. Nasistelia doesn't like what he's seeing. It's just an enormous amount of caution from these two teams, who usually aren't quite that cautious, at least as cautious as we've seen here. But turnover force Vatu for the breakaway. What a save by Hanselinho! And that could have been heartbreaking for Valokuitunen.
Oh, that had to feel like that was the game there for Tunnel Vision. You have your best scorer, arguably, with the puck on his stick on a breakaway, but Hanselinho, one of the best in the business for years. For that reason right there, he stepped up and made big saves like that plenty of times before. He does it again in a critical juncture.
Nasistelia now, after the pass from Valokuitunen, tried to get that up to Eki. He does eventually get it off the loose puck. Now down low to Tempinen. Tempinen had the backhand on the short side. He couldn't quite tuck it home. You saw Bennu come off of that post just a little bit, and there have been some close calls in this overtime so far. It's Tunnel Vision having to reset once again in their own end. 11 minutes to go. Vatu down low to Leitonen. He has that one sticked away by Puanzo. And once more, Puanzo with a little bit of space. One touch deke to the inside, but couldn't get around Tombo. He will maintain possession of that puck. Wrist shot on as that one saved by Bennu.
Yeah, and we've seen both goalies really kind of start to become the story here in this overtime. Bennu made the massive save earlier in overtime number 1. We saw the breakaway there from Hanselinho. Bennu makes another save right there. Gonna have to continue it.
Valokuitunen now takes that one down low. Eki can't quite get that pass away. And Tunnel Vision on the counterattack, but only momentarily, as a nice hit in the neutral zone put that puck back in possession of Strikers. Valokuitunen to Eki. He has bumped off the puck, and Tunnel Vision looking to get their own counterattack going, but brief moment of being offside, and they'll reset all the way back in their own end. Try to attack with speed once more. Good pass over to Leitinen. Takes it into the corner. And now back up top. Tumbo to Vatu. They're looking for that one chance, the one shot. But as I say that, going for a rebound right there. Vatu just said enough of that and threw it on. Another one just kind of thrown towards the front of the net. That was Pikari from behind the net. And Hanselinho will smother it once more.
Yeah, started off with a turnover there by the defensive Straikers. That's why Tunnel Vision got another chance, because there was a light forecheck there from Tunnel Vision, and they caused a turnover. So Straikers, a little bit of a mishap there. Luckily didn't have to pay for it, but fourth though is here at the critical juncture. They can come back to bite you.
Tempinen shoved down from behind, and Tunnel Vision now in the counterattack. Interesting bounce right there as Vatu tried to get the shot away. I thought I saw it go into the possession of Leitinen for a brief instant. His pass back to the point gets intercepted, but they almost forced another turnover, but Leitinen collected it just outside the blue line. Failing to gain the line once more, will give Straikers the puck. Good pass up to Poinso. Now Sustelia gives it to him once more off the loose puck. Poinso now to Eki. Eki shot! Dempinen in front, goes for the backhand on the far side. Skitters just wide. One-timer for Flyer Kungen, loose in the high slot. Pikari eventually does get it. We are in the final minutes of the second overtime. Are we destined for 3? Vanger trying to feed the middle right there. Taken away, maybe a 2-on-1 if they can hurry. Eki to Dempinen. Dempinen can't L-skate to the middle. Gets caught by the back checkers, but does force that turnover. Eki now in front. Dempinen takes a shot. Another one off the post! Oh my goodness. Close calls for both sides throughout these 2 overtime periods. We are somehow still tied.
Yeah, I don't know how we're still tied in this game, and you see there's going to be a timeout called here by Tunnel Vision, and I think smartly so, but man, Straikers just inches away from putting an end to it. I'm sure that Valokuitunen and Esports and EXEN would have been plenty fine seeing that. They're still waiting to get their series started, as we'll call that after this, but man, we get another look, and you see the initial save, and this one right here.
Oh,
nice save from Bennu. He's the one that deflected a part of that to make it hit off the post.
Offensive zone draw, 29.2 remaining. Eki loses the face-off. Tunnel Vision will get possession. Failed saucer pass off the wall, but Vanger does get that puck back. And they will gain the line. Vatu over, another big save, this one by Hanselinho. Pikari on the backhand, couldn't put it home. Still a chance for one more play. Vatu has to kind of pick that one up off of his glove as a saucer pass went through, and well, 3 periods weren't enough, 4 periods weren't enough, 5 periods weren't enough. We are heading to the 3rd overtime here between Straikers and Tunnel Vision.
And I mean, just stellar hockey there in that second overtime. I think that the first overtime, both of these teams were very timid and hesitant, and I don't really think they were really pushing as much as they could, but that last overtime felt like 2 teams that were starting to get very frustrated with neither side scoring, and we're like, okay, one of us have to go get the goal, and it felt like that aggression really ramped up. It's almost similar to what you would see in a real-life overtime in actual hockey, where there is a season potentially on the line, where at first both teams are a little bit more hesitant, things are a little bit calmer, they're kind of feeling it out, they're prioritizing not making mistakes, and as the game continues to go on and the overtimes continue to extend, you start to see them push the issue a little bit more, because you're like, okay, this next goal has to be coming soon, and it feels like Sin, this game has opened up more, and that next goal very well could be coming soon.
We'll see what happens as this 3rd overtime gets underway. We'll thank our friends at Kovalan Lakritsi once more for their continued support of the ECL. Puck over the line briefly for Tunnel Vision and turned over, and here comes Straikers. Poinso tries a quick pass to the middle there. Doesn't go, and really had some space down the wing right there. You'd like to see him maybe carry that a bit further. Now Sustelia takes it after the failed Tunnel Vision dump. Poinso now in possession. Thought about going down low, goes back up top and gets it back from Nasustelia. Nasusteli to Flyerkungen. His one-timer hits a body in front. I believe it was Dempinen's, as they're looking for another deflection. Sauce pass off the wall. Vatu has it. Back to Tombo. Tombo takes his time. Wenger now peels away as well. Vatu along the half wall. Down low for Pikari. Now Leitinen has it. He gets taken away by two different defensemen, and Juanso has it now for Straikers. Got that one through. And the race almost won. Right? I mean, it was tactically won by, I think, Flyerkungen. He just couldn't get control of that puck behind the net. As Eki gets it and will slow things down on the side of Straikers. They'll gain the line. Eki looking to take a shot. Maybe gets it to Tempinen. His backhand. And that's just been the thing. Quick changes of possession because neither team can really keep things going after they take that one chance, which is maybe why you see Tunnel Vision playing that quality game, but poked loose. Puanzo now with some space, but one-touch deke too many right there. Needed to try to get some speed going because the back checkers caught up quick. Wenger looking to feed Leitinen in there, intercepted. Dangerous bouncing puck in front. Tunnel Vision scores. Leitinen, the hero, in overtime number 3. Tunnel Vision escape what could have been viewed as a tragedy there, blowing a 3-0 lead, but winning it in the 3rd overtime.
Near disaster for Tunnel Vision. It took 3, seemingly close to 4 almost overtimes. An insane game. And Sin, once again, the pressure applied from behind the net from Tunnel Vision. I'd have to go back and look at it again, but I think that was a forced turnover behind the net from the forecheck. Again, Straikers, they've had issues with that in this series. Tunnel Vision applied the pressure. It gave them that second opportunity. Hanselino just not able to make that save, and Tunnel Vision able to escape with the victory and a 1-1 series result, which I think everyone would agree probably does feel just about right.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely wouldn't have expected one of these two teams to be up 2-0, and, well, when this game was 3-0 for Tunnel Vision, you just expected it to be closed out, but Straikers really showed a great job of coming back into that game, and man, oh man, how big does that save look from Bennu? I think it was back in the first overtime where he just absolutely robbed, I want to say, Dempinen, and man, there were some close calls really either side, but that was the first big one that really kind of made you think this was going a long way in overtime, and indeed it was. Both goaltenders making fantastic saves.
Yeah, I mean, both Hanselino and Bennu just absolutely put on a show, and you know, you get another look there at some of the goals, and all of them similar. That's very similar to what we saw from the overtime winner. Just Straikers not able to get out of their own zone. They had the puck for a moment, but weren't able to keep it to get it out. And then Tunnel Vision retrieved it and got a quick chance. And Hanselino just wasn't able to get on the other side for the save for. So, you know, I think that, again, this is about what you would have expected out of the series. Each side winning one. You could argue that that's probably how it should be. You could say Straikers probably deserved this game from the 3rd period on, and Tunnel Vision deserved the game from the first 54 minutes. So it's tight, and that's exactly what you expect out of these two teams. A 1-1 series is exactly what you want to see. And, you know, give Straikers their credit. I think they did a good job of coming back in that game. I think their strategy of shooting the puck more as they got more desperate is something that they'll want to carry in through for the regular games that aren't in 6 periods. But, you know, I think that both of these teams had some good things that they'll want to carry over and some things that they'll want to adjust. So we've got an exciting series that we'll keep on going with on Wednesday. And boy, that was quite a game. And I'm sure EXEN and Valokuitunen are very much ready to get things going.
Yeah, so we'll set the stage for their series. We'll go to a brief break before that, though, so stick with us.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi. Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
All right, we thank you guys for sticking with us. And we, of course, we thank our friends at Kouvolan Lakritsi for their continued support. The first two games between Tunnel Vision and Straikers in the books. It's going to be a 1-1 series split, and we now turn our attention to Valokuitunen, Esports, and EXEN in the start to their semifinals series. So we're going to check out the bracket here so far, and we'll see what the routes that these two teams had to take to get to this place in the semifinals.
Yeah, and for Valokuitunen Esports, it's been well documented. Just escaping that number 8 seed, and the Blackjacks looked rather close to them potentially being upset, Sid. We know we both saw that one, and we're like, man, maybe it's going to happen, but Valokuitunen, as they always do, able to step up and make it happen, while the complete reverse for EXEN, dominant over Totori, sweeping them in 4 games, made it look relatively easy in that situation, and now here they are facing off against one another, and these are two teams that have been in the Elite Division for a long time, very familiar opponents. Should be interesting to see how they look here in a best-of-7 series.
So we'll take a look now at the team matchups and what they've done so far throughout the course of the playoffs as well. So you can see right there the same amount of goals for. The goal differential is a bit different for either of them, and well, special teams are very different as well.
Yeah, a strong power play, but not so strong PK for EXEN. A not so strong power play, but a rather strong penalty kill for Valokuitunen. And again, keep in mind the difference in the games they played. EXEN and Valokuitunen having the same amount of goals, but EXEN playing 3 less games. That's something important to keep in mind. The goal scoring was really, really good for them in that first 4 games against Totori, but obviously going to be a much different task doing it against Valokuitunen and the Esports, who were just known to play such a stellar defense, both in the trap and on the forecheck.
So we'll take a look now at the lineups for both EXEN and Valokuitunen. On the side of EXEN, you have Aro, Tonkelia, and Indy up front, Landström and Moja on the points, with Kazu in between the pipes for Valokuitunen, Piku Roger, Benito, and Nikki Dangles up front, Domi and Temu on defense, with Finsere in between the pipes. And we'll take a look now at the head-to-head matchup, starting with Tonkelia and Benito in the center position.
Yeah, and this is probably the matchup that I think I'm arguably most intrigued by, is Tonkelia and Benito. Obviously, we all know about Benito, what he has done, what he is capable of, and how good he is. But Tonkelia, in my opinion, has gone as one of the most under-the-radar centers in this division. He is constantly been a guy that's been able to contribute offensively. He plays well defensively. He's great at the face-off dot. Seeing him match up against arguably the best at his position on this stage is going to be so fun. I remember seeing him at Reality Check when he was at the Pro Division level. He was there for a couple seasons at the Elite Division level, has been with this EXEN team now for 2 seasons. I can't wait to see him go against Benito, who, as we mentioned, has done pretty much everything there is to do. And I even got to talk to Benito before this series about what his thoughts are in the series, as well as what happened in the last series, being pushed to the brink against that number 8 seed in Blackjacks.
And we'll see what he has to say in that interview right now.
I'm here with Valokuitunen Esports Center and Captain Perttu Kemppanen, better known as Benito. Benito, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to chat with me here before games tonight.
No problem.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, you guys are into the semifinals yet again. It's become pretty much a common practice for you, seemingly, ever since you got into the Elite Division. A challenging series in the quarterfinals against the Blackjacks. They pushed you to 7, but you were able to get through into the semifinals round. Now that you've had about a week and a half to kind of go back and reflect on things, what were some of your takeaways from that series that you feel like maybe help you guys here in the semifinal series coming up?
I think against Blackjacks we made a lot of mistakes, which led to them scoring and gaining early leads in the games, and they ended up winning them. So I think we learned that we have to be more careful with the puck and know that if we make some mistakes, the opponent probably will capitalize on them. So I think that we just have to focus on our game and be a bit more careful with the puck, so we don't give them any easy chances. And that's what we didn't really do against Blackjack. So I think we have to step up this round.
Yeah, and something that you mentioned there that really all of you guys have mentioned multiple times over this run that you guys have had is playing your game, sticking to your game. And it feels like no matter what the situation is, whether you're up, whether you're down, you guys always have done such a good job at doing that. I'm curious, in your opinion, what does the best version of your team's game look like to you?
I think it's the version we showed in the regular season. I think we played. We also had some bad games, but mostly we played to our strengths in the regular season, and we got the first seed. So I think it's just taking our game to the next level and improving from last round.
Yeah, for sure. And you're going up against a team that has seemingly taken their game to the next level this year in EXEN. They marked in that number 5 seed, were able to sweep a really scrappy Totodit team in the last round in 4 games. And obviously, you guys are very familiar with them, having played them multiple times in the regular season over the years, as well as once or twice in the playoffs. When you look at this EXEN team, what about their roster or play stands out to you the most?
I think it's their defenders. They have two really good defensemen, which are responsible for a lot of their offense, maybe a little too much sometimes. But I think their defenders are really good, and their offense can be a bit bad sometimes, but their defense really covers it up for them. So I think it's going to be an exciting series to watch, and especially their 2 defensemen. But I think it's going to be a tight series.
Yeah, for sure. And I know you're very familiar with one of those defensemen in Moses. He was with you guys last season as a forward. Benito, last question for you. Don't want to take up too much of your time. You guys have had a lot of success against this group in the past, as I mentioned earlier, both in the regular season as well as in the playoffs. You even won both games against them in the regular season this campaign. What do you think is going to be the most important thing for you guys to continue that success here in this semifinal series?
I think it's just eliminating the mistakes we did in the last round and be a bit more careful with the puck, so we don't give them any chances for free, and try to control the games. So I think it's just, as I said, eliminating the mistakes we did last round and focusing on our strengths, and I think we'll win this series.
Well, hey, we'll see if you guys can do it. It should be a fun series to watch. Benito, thank you again so much for taking a few moments to chat with us, and best of luck to you guys the rest of the way.
Thank you.
So obviously good to hear from Benito there and get some of his thoughts on this series. But we move over to take a look at the wingers now. Aro and Indy on one side, Piku Roger, Nikki Dangles on the other.
Yeah, and I feel like Arnold is going to command a lot of attention from that Valokuitunen defense. He has just been absolutely spectacular so far this season, was great in the series versus Totori. Those 5 goals in those 4 games, as you can see, the same amount as Piku Roger, who had 5 goals in 7 games played. So it just goes to show you what he was able to do when he had the puck on his stick. But Piku Roger and Nicky Dangles, I mean, arguably the best wing duo that you will find in Europe. One of the top ones in the world as well. So, those guys are going to make an impact. I think they'll be even better than what we saw them a couple of weeks ago against the Blackjack. So, a lot of intrigue here. It's going to be fun to see who of these guys really does step up and take their game to that next level.
We'll take a look at the defensive comparisons now for both of these two sides, as well as they're the ones going to be charged with stopping those wingers a lot of the time.
Yeah, and especially Domi and Temu, because I know that they have really, really been looking forward probably to this series, knowing that they have a former teammate Moja on the other side who we'll hear from a little bit. But I don't even think it's them necessarily that are going to be the most important to this team defensively, because if you look at Landstrom and Moja on the other side, 9 points and 8 points. Those two are the point leaders for this team, and Landstrom has 3 goals to go along with it. So as important as Domi and Temu are going to be, it's going to take the 3 forwards in front of them to really shut down the offensive end of Landstrom and Moja, who, as I mentioned, I got to talk to and is very familiar with this Valokuitunen side, both as a teammate and as an opponent.
Yeah, so we'll see what Moja has to say on the matter.
I am now joined by EXEN defenseman Aleksi Kakkonen, better known to us as Moja. Moja, thank you so much for taking a few moments to join me here before games tonight.
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you guys earned your way into the semifinals just a couple of weeks ago. A dominant sweep against the number 4 seed in Totally in the quarterfinals. Looking back, what do you feel like worked well for you guys in that series that can maybe carry over now as you look ahead to the semifinals?
I mean, in this season in general, I think like the second half we struggled with scoring, and we just were able to finally find ways, different ways, especially with scoring in that series, and I hope that would transform this series as well.
Yeah, for sure. I know you kind of mentioned scoring woes a little bit there during the first few weeks. If you don't mind me following up on that, what do you feel like was the difference in your score between this last series and then some of the last few weeks of the regular season where you guys really didn't have that scoring going?
I mean, there wasn't really like huge things that we considered or talked about, but I guess it just finally clicked, which has not been the case in the past few weeks, but yeah, nothing huge.
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes things just gotta take that time, and then all of a sudden, bam, there it is, especially when you do have that talent that you guys have over there. And now you move forward into the semifinals, getting ready to face off against the defending champs in Valokuitunen. I know you're extremely familiar with, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But what about their game, in your opinion, makes them so tough to beat?
I mean, yeah, they have the best talent out of any team in the scene, and have the chemistry to go with it, and they have played for so many years together in general, and have the whole game plan on what they do. And I guess we wanted to just try to shut them down, and especially when they're have their cycling game going, and just try to abuse when there's some kind of a mismatch happening on the ice.
Yeah, and I mentioned you being very familiar with them, obviously played against them in the ECL finals multiple seasons with Sago Esports and Tunnel Vision during your time there. And then obviously last season you played with the Valokuitunen Esports side when they were H-Reds. I can't help but to ask, do you feel like those experiences with and against them will give you a little bit of an advantage coming into this series?
Yeah, I mean, I know these guys pretty well and their play styles, which has been a big factor while competing against them in the recent ECL seasons. I mean, obviously that helps, but that can also only take you that far. You have to, still execute your game plan and go from that.
Yeah, for sure. And, I have to also kind of follow up with that, considering that you do know this team so well. You were on the same group with them last season, won a championship with them last season. You're extremely familiar with all of them. Is there that extra sense of motivation going against your former team, even though it was just for that one season?
I mean, yeah, but for me, it's more like a friendship thing than a rivalry in general. I mean, but yeah, obviously there's a huge hunger for winning and no questions about it. So hoping for the best.
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta love the friendly competition, especially when there are guys on the other side you are so familiar with. Most, your last question for you. Don't want to take up too much of your time. In your opinion, what will be the biggest key for you guys to win the series and to have success against this Valokuitunen team?
I mean, we have to try to punish them when they make mistakes in general. Like, we have to be clinical about that and just keeping our whole defense together as best as we can. And No, we have nothing to lose in this series, so I hope that we can turn that into something, and we know that we have the talent to compete, even though our game hasn't been that great like whole season in general. But yeah, it's common sense that we have to bring our very best to have a chance to win.
Hey, we'll see if you guys can do it. Nothing to lose, but everything to win with that trip to the ECL Elite Finals on the line. Moser, thank you so much once again for taking a few moments. Best of luck to you guys tonight.
Thanks.
All right, so now we slide over to check out the goalie duel between Finsete and Kazu.
Yeah, and this is going to be so much fun to watch. Again, two experienced goaltenders, both goalies that had great series just in the quarterfinals. Katsu at that 84 save percentage, Vincere at an 86.7. So, you know, both these guys are going to step up. They're going to have to in a series like this one where you're going to see a lot of opportunities on both ends.
So just a few moments away from puck drop, but we do have the keys for success, starting out with the side of EXEN.
Yeah, first and foremost for EXEN, be organized defensively. We know how much Valokuitunen can really spread out a defense and take advantage of that extra space, so it's going to be important for all five guys for EXEN to make sure they are defensively positioned, they're organized, and they're cohesive as a unit. Secondly, earn offensive zone time. It's going to be tough to beat this Valokuitunen team if you don't counter their offense with a little bit of offense of your own. We saw in their regular season series where they had more success in the second game because they got zone time compared to the first game where they really didn't have much offensive play to speak of. So that zone time and earning it is going to be big for them. And then lastly, limiting mistakes. You cannot afford to beat yourselves. It's tough enough to beat this Valokuitunen esports team. You can't look to beat yourselves in the process. They have to be sharp, they have to be smart, and you cannot make little silly mistakes, especially with the puck on your stick.
And now for the keys to success for Valokuitunen.
Yeah, and for Valokuitunen, I think a lot of this goes back to what we saw from them in the quarterfinals, but also what they're facing right now against EXEN. And first and foremost, don't hesitate to shoot. It felt like last week and a little bit at the end of the regular season, they had some opportunities to shoot the puck, and they would be a little bit hesitant to do so. So I'd like to see them be a little more willing to throw that puck on net, because as we just saw in that Straikers tunnel vision series, you never know what will happen if you do throw that puck on net. So don't be afraid to hit up on that right stick. Secondly, and arguably the most important one, slow down Landstrom and Moser. We talked about it earlier. Those two are the straw that stirs the drink for this team. Offensively, you heard Benito say earlier how much EXEN uses their defense offensively. That's going to be a key for them. He even said they maybe use them a little bit too much. So I expect Valokuitunen to have a big emphasis on those two. They're going to have to slow them down. And finally, play your game and stay in your element. That is when Valokuitunen Esports is at its best. I think they got away from that a little bit against the Blackjacks, and that's why we saw that go to 7. We even saw them get a little bit frustrated and show that frustration at times during that series. They're going to have to stay in their element and commit to their game, because I think that this EXEN team, if you thought that the Blackjacks were able to take advantage of it, EXEN might be able to do so even more.
So we'll see what happens as these two teams, I guess, need another minute or so to get themselves completely ready and matched up here to start off this semifinal series between EXEN and Valokuitunen, as we've been talking about. So, I mean, I'm obviously very excited about this, but I think both of us are a little bit maybe hesitant on the side of Valokuitunen, because we don't expect them to get taken to 7 games by an 8 seed, you know, server differential or not. That's just not something we quite expected for this Valokuitunen team.
Yeah, I don't think that's, to be quite honest, something they expected of themselves. I mean, obviously, Benito not saying that they respect the Blackjacks, they respect EXEN, but I think that's just the standard that they've created. And when you have a team that has won 4 Elite Division championships, 3-peated, they're defending champs, they've been arguably the most dominant team in the ECL and in Europe for the past 2 or 3 years now, you create that standard, and that expectation is going to be higher than this for other teams. They have a higher standard than what you would expect from a team like the Blackjacks that haven't won a playoff round, a team like EXEN that have been in the semis but haven't been able to go to the finals, or, to be quite honest, even a team like Tunnel Vision that though has success, has not as won as many championships as this team have, or a team like Straikers that haven't won in 3 years. So the expectation for Valokuitunen Esports is just different than any other team in this division. You don't expect them to get pushed to 7, and I think it's not even that they got pushed to 7, but how it happened. They made a lot of uncharacteristic mistakes. They looked frustrated. They looked out of their game, and that's why I think that third key is going to be so important, because they're going to have to fix those things. I think the Blackjacks missed on some opportunities to take advantage of that. I don't know if they're going to be able to have that same wiggle room against this EXEN team.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it when that series was going on too, how different it could have been had the Blackjacks just, like you said, capitalize on a chance or two here and there, or not made various mistakes, because they could have been the team here in the second round. But we know what our matchup is here now. It's EXEN Valokuitunen, and game 1 is just about ready to get underway. Getting a look now at the two lineups for these squads here, and of course, it's going to be very important to have a first good 10 or so minutes. What do you think, Brandon?
Yeah, it's actually exactly what I was going to say. It's going to be interesting to see the start of this game, because it feels like that could really set the tone and kind of give us a bit of a look at what this series will look like stylistically. So the start of this game going to be very important here, especially for EXEN being the underdogs in this one.
Valokuitunen now in possession as they look to break it in. Teemu does take it across the line over to Domi. Benito now taking his time in the corner. Roger trying to send that one in front. Looks like it careened off of the goaltender. Now to Nicky Dangles and up top to Teemu. Domi tripped up, and that's going to be a power play early on here for Valokuitunen. Nicky Dangles over to Domi once more. I thought that was actually touched up, but I guess it wasn't touched up by EXEN. Still an advantage in the offensive zone for Valokuitunen. Finally, it will be touched up here, and we'll get the chance to see that power play go to work.
Yeah, and we talked about earlier, those are the mistakes that you cannot afford to make if you're EXEN. You can't beat yourselves, because it's hard enough to beat Valokuitunen as it is. And, you know, Valokuitunen, they struggled a bit on the power play in their last series, but again, now it's 2 weeks ago. They've had time to think of it. They've had time to kind of adjust some things, look back at the film, so you don't want to do little mistakes like that. We'll see if Valokuitunen can make them pay.
Face-off won by EXEN. Moja will just chip that one out. And Valokuitunen will have to reset in their own end to get this power play going. Saw the numbers in the pregame. They have not looked great on the man advantage so far, but time to maybe start fresh and get a new trend going. Here's Domi with the puck. Teemu now to Benito. His shot blocked. Teemu back over to Domi. He goes to Benito. Quickly back to Teemu, just driving the net right there, trying to jam that one home. PQ Roger collects it, sends it down low, but that one's going to be chipped all the way back here. And one more rush on the man advantage for Valokuitunen. Teemu gaining the line. Has some space, feeds Domi to PQ Roger. His one-timer goes off the post. The Valokuitunen in command of this game so far. A wraparound pass goes to Benito, and he tucks that one home.
Well, Sid, we both said how the start of this game was going to be so interesting and so important. Well, Valokuitunen, they've dominated it, and it's no surprise to see them get the first goal of the game with the way this one has gone. And just a nifty little play there. It looked like they were going for a wraparound, but they passed it right in front at the last minute. Tough play for Kazu to be able to stop that, and a well-deserved 1-0 lead for Valokuitunen with the way they have played and really dominated the first part of this game.
Absolutely not a power play goal, but definitely power play influence, as that was the same zone possession they had. As the man was coming out of the box. They also hit the post earlier on in that possession, so Valokuitunen really firmly in the driver's seat here and right back in on the attack. It's one way to take Landström and Moja out of the game, is just to force them to play defense.
Yeah, and you know, I think that you kind of see right now that that's really been the emphasis, because EXEN have not been able to get out of their own zone, and even when they have had the puck, they haven't broken into the offensive zone. They might not have 10 seconds in the offensive zone so far. We're halfway through this first period.
Moja, head of steam, gets that one in, loses the puck off the attempted pass. Desperation play right there from Piku Roger. Valokuitunen have to be careful working this one out. Nice saucer pass to Teemu. He has all kinds of speed working in front, looking to kind of jam that one home on the short side. Didn't go, and EXEN coming back the other way. Tonkelia now. Whoa, nice one-time pass back from Indy. Trying to feed Tonkelia, that one in front. Off of the pads of Finn Sede. Big pass up, here comes Piku Roger. Piku Roger, whoa, one-time feed. Benito couldn't quite get the shot away. It looked like he was slightly off balance. Tonkelia trying to come back, but immediately turned over, and Valokuitunen have it in once more. They send it down low, where Lundström will collect it. Cut across pass to Otto. Can't quite connect. And Piku Roger bouncing puck finally goes into Kazu's pads, but that was dangerous.
You know, something I'm noticing here early is that they aren't even necessarily attacking Lundström and Moja. They're more or less shutting them down by shutting down their passing options and trying to kind of force them to make a pass that they really wouldn't want to, or to just try to straight line it into the blue line themselves. So they're shutting them down more or less by taking their options away. And I really like that strategy defensively here from Valokuitunen.
Slap pass attempt goes straight to the stick of Piku Roger, but he's now back covering for the defense as Valokuitunen couldn't establish themselves in the offensive end. EXEN will peel back after they didn't like what they saw, and got a bit of a neutral zone stalemate going here as that one poked off of Moja's stick. And Valokuitunen come back the other way. Nicky Dangles to Benito. Benito drop pass right there. Was looking like it was going all the way back to the defensive. Not too sure if that was what he meant to do. Nonetheless, the result is a turnover.
This neutral zone defense has just been stellar from Valokuitunen, and EXEN have had pretty much nothing so far.
Teemu, nice windmill deke, has to peel back though so they don't go offside, and somehow still went offside. I thought that was going to be enough time for them to get the reset, but we do have another whistle.
Yeah, I did there too, so unfortunate break there for Valokuitunen, but nevertheless, still some time here, and if they win the faceoff, they'll find their way back into the zone, but a nice job there from Tonkelia to win it.
Nice saucer pass. Indy trying to go in front. Tonkelia couldn't quite get possession. And Valokuitunen coming back the other way. 8 seconds remaining here in the first period. Piku Roger. And that's going to be another delayed penalty here. Teemu to Domi, one quick shot. And that will do it. So a power play will be on the docket for the second period in favor of Valokuitunen. And they do have the 1-0 lead.
Yeah, and I would love to see where that penalty came from. Maybe it was in that battle late as there were a lot of bodies in front of the net, but nevertheless, Valokuitunen with pretty much about as close to a perfect period as you could possibly ask for. They were stellar defensively. I don't think they allowed but maybe 1 or 2 shots on net the entire time. Just 28 seconds of time and attack. I'll be honest, and I still think that you should do more than 4 shots on net in 4.5 minutes of time and attack. I think Valokuitunen, they're missing on some opportunities here, and it is just 1-0. As great as you are playing right now, it can flip on its head just as easily in the snap of a finger. We've seen it before. We even saw it in that last series versus the Blackjacks, where they would start out like this, and the Blackjacks would stay in the game, and the next thing you know, it's close late, and they find that goal to tie it or eventually even win it. So I still would like to see them do more with that zone time, but outside from that, Valokuitunen playing a perfect game just about right now.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to let those opponents hang around here, as they do win the opening draw here in the second period and get in on the attack. Roger from behind the net, peels out front. Benito's shot doesn't quite go, but Moja can't get that one out, and Domi forces the turnover. He goes to Piku Roger. Piku Roger, Teemu looking for the shot, doesn't quite have it. Nicky Dangles opts not to shoot. There's the one-time play. Piku Roger denied by Kazu. Benito has it again, looking for the rebound off the pad. And that one's just going to be sent all the way down. Otto will win the race, but he doesn't have support. Has to wait for Moja. Kicks along to the half wall. And threatening shorthanded, but not getting an A-grade chance was EXEN. Benito in front. Huge save by Kazu. Throws it out. Another huge save. Oh, it always takes me off guard the first time Kazu throws it out, but he's probably one of the most active goaltenders in the Elite Division. Just continuously throwing that puck out, trying to get the game to move on.
That was close right there, though. I don't know if I would do it too many times against this team, because that was awfully close to being a 2-0 game.
Good Roger now in possession. Sent back to Benito. Benito down low. Nicky Dangles working it. Now Piku Roger trying to get that short side shot off. Can't get the loose puck. And here come EXEN back the other way. Indy immediately loses the puck as he tries to cross the blue line, and Valokuitunen get it right back. Benito nearly split the defense. But EXEN on the counterattack now. Tonkelia loses the puck to Teemu, and once again, EXEN just cannot get anything established in the offensive zone. Cutting to the middle, loose in front, a shot on. Kazu makes the save, and yet another delayed penalty, so another power play coming for Valokuitunen as EXEN just cannot get anything going here in this game.
Yeah, but I think it's actually going to be
Valokuitunen.
Yeah. So this is actually a chance for EXEN. So maybe their fortunes potentially turning here, and I think this is a good thing and could be exactly what they need, because they haven't really been able to establish anything in the offensive zone in 5-on-5. As you were mentioning, they've struggled staying out of the box, and Valokuitunen haven't made them pay too much for it. So as we talked about, when you don't get a lot of chances and you limit your goals, you have a situation like this where EXEN now can get one goal and tie the game up with this power play.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just kind of assumed that they were the ones headed to the box with the way this game was trending. But yeah, you said a huge opportunity on the side of EXEN now. Moja with the puck. One-timer there by Aro. Couldn't quite catch Finsere off guard. Slide over to make the save. Another one-timer. This one off the side of the post. As EXEN threatening here on the man advantage. And scoring. Tonkelia deflects it in the slot. And EXEN have tied it on the man advantage.
Well, I called on Tonkelia earlier, and I said I felt like he was arguably the most underrated center in the league. And what does he do? He steps up and gets that positioning for the tip and finds his way past Vincere. And Sin, you know, I can't help but to go back to that Blackjack series. They let EXEN hang around, and just like that, it's tied with half of this game already gone. So as great as Valokuitunen have been playing, a lot of it now squandered, and EXEN with momentum.
Lundström in possession, tries another point shot. That one's blocked. Another shot hits a body in front and skitters wide. That was Tonkelia coming up there. And now an icing on the side of Valokuitunen. So another mistake for them, which will give EXEN another opportunity.
Well, momentum can just shift so quickly, doesn't it? You're seeing it right now. It was all Valokuitunen, but then just one penalty, one power play goal, and all of a sudden EXEN look like they've kind of found themselves again here.
Another shot on, and loose in front, dangerous position, but Vincere does eventually find it, and yeah, you're seeing it from EXEN now. They are throwing everything at the net.
Yeah, and I think that's what they have to do. It's really the opposite of what Valokuitunen have done. If you're not going to be able to find zone time, then you need to at least be able to find a volume of shots, and I like that EXEN is taking that strategy, and hey, you're in a 1-1 situation where, quite frankly, I think that a lot of people feel like they're kind of fortunate to be. So for EXEN, taking advantage of it.
Lundström the Moja. He tries to get that pass across to Aro. They don't quite connect, and here comes the counterattack now. Benito up to Nicky Dangles. Nicky Dangles trying to feed that one more time. It looked like, yeah, Benito was interfered with, so Valokuitunen this time for sure will be going back to the man advantage. Benito now goes around the horn. Goaltender comes onto the ice right here. Shot on right there. Saved by Kazu. And we'll get the chance to see that Valokuitunen power play go back to work.
As Lundström in the box, that's big. So Moja's defensive partner out, and that's going to slot the right winger of, I believe, Art or Indy. They'll be going back on defense. So a big loss there for EXEN, and not what you want to see. When you just have momentum, you were playing well, and then you take a penalty and give Valokuitunen a chance to take it right back.
He got the face-off, but the turnover was forced, and H-Reds get set up. Teemu back to Domi. Domi looking for the one-timer, taken away by Indy and sent all the way down. And for now, Valokuitunen failing to capitalize on the man advantage. And this is their third opportunity, and poked away as Domi tried to gain the line. Nicky Dangles will get that one in, sauced over to Benito. And Valokuitunen finally getting themselves set up. A lot of perimeter work here. There's the shot from the point. Doesn't go. Teemu to Nicky Dangles. He has a quick shot from the side of the net, but took a while to corral it. And that will do it for the power play. And the woes on the man advantage for Valokuitunen continuing here. Teemu trying to pull Rush's way. What were you going to say? Sorry.
Oh, no, sorry. I was just saying it wasn't even a bad one. They got some good chances. Just Kazu doing a great job there of pretty much stalemating that there.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, good looks and a couple decent shots. But at some point, you know, if you're a team like Valokuitunen, you know you need to capitalize on these man advantages. For now, we continue the second period tied up. Pass down low is collected. Benito has it. Good collapse coming out from EXEN. Feeds it over to Piku Roger. He can't quite keep that going. Bouncing puck. I thought it almost bounced off the opposite post before going into Kazu's skates there. So another close call for Valokuitunen.
Yeah, they have to feel like they've been so close to finding another goal, but just haven't been able to. Kazu just able to get to that one because that one did look like it was going to trickle in.
Face off one, slap pass down. Otto has it. 3 seconds remaining. One more attempt as Moja takes a shot, gloved by Finn Sere. We'll have one final face off here with .1. As the ref just decided needed that spotlight on himself for one more second. So that'll do it for the second period here. Tie game as EXEN, well, capitalize on the man advantage.
Yeah, you know, it feels like, as weird as this feels to say, EXEN have been doing a lot of the things that Valokuitunen haven't been doing, and that's the reason that they're tied in this game. Valokuitunen with 3 different power plays, they weren't able to score on one. Valokuitunen not really shooting the puck, and it's come back to bite them. Well, EXEN, they've pretty much thrown everything possible on net, and they found their goal doing that off of a tip play. They actually had 1 power play compared to the 3 of Valokuitunen, and the 1 power play they got, they scored on. So have Valokuitunen been the better team? Yes, most definitely. They have dominated the game, they have controlled the game, they have played their game, but I just feel like they once again have kind of lacked in the areas that they lacked in last week, and it feels like it's a slightly better version of the same team, but if they don't fix some of those flaws, it allows EXEN to stay in this game, and we've seen it plenty of times before, Stin, where the better team doesn't win, and right now, EXEN, they just keep hanging around, and the more they continue to do so, the more dangerous this gets for Valokuitunen on the other end.
We'll see what happens here in the third period. Game is tied. Piku Roger sends that one in deep. Good pursuit by Nicky Dangles, but he can't force the puck off of Landström. And Moja coming back the other way, gains the line. Quick pass to Donkelia, but he turns it over. And Benito goes it up to Piku Roger. Benito takes it off the handoff play, but can't get themselves established. And here comes a counterattack. Otto now with some space, trying to feed Indy right there. But Teemu in good possession breaks that one up and nearly turned it back the other way for a chance up the ice. Domi now to Benito. Benito up to Piku Roger. Benito taking that shot. Another shot there, loose in front. Can't quite get to it on the rebound as now Valokuitunen will kind of back off here. Long saucer pass makes its way to Indy. He can't feed Donkelia. The back check broke that one up. Quick shot by Indy off the turnover. Turned aside, and here come Valokuitunen back the other way. As loose puck there, poked ahead by Piku Roger. But Valokuitunen can't quite get to it. And here come EXEN coming back the other way. Donkelia down the right wing side. Drop pass back to Indy. He can't get the shot through. It was blocked by Domi. And Valokuitunen failing on the breakout pass. It's intercepted. And here comes Landström. Head of steam down the left wing side. Slows up, kicks it back to Donkelia on the point. His pass goes awry and looked like it may have been a big breakaway opportunity, though. It actually turns into an EXEN chance as it was another turnover by Valokuitunen in their own end. Nikki Dangle's pass gets intercepted, and we're going to get to see another EXEN power play as yet another mistake has been forced out by Valokuitunen.
Yeah, and I feel like in this third period, it's become more prevalent to see them doing that, just making mistakes. And we talked about this during the keys to success. They have to stay within their element and play their game. And it feels like that you're, again, starting to sense some frustration that they aren't up in this game despite all of the zone time that they've had. And some of that frustration can often lead into mistakes. And remember, EXEN's one goal on the power play. So this is an opportunity for them to potentially go up in this game, still being tied.
A quick shot on right there by Nikki Dangles. As EXEN try to get themselves established here on the power play. Moja trying to feed Otto right there, but well read by Teemu. And Valokuitunen thought about counterattacking. Now we're going to have to back off after a nice hit in the neutral zone. Moja, miscommunication there with Lundström. And not a whole lot going for this power play of EXEN, but they do get the puck in. Tonkelia slowing things down. Back up top to Lundström. Lundström looking for a backhand. That one's blocked. He does just take that one in front, driving the net, gets it right back. Thought about going back in front once more. The power play is killed off by Valokuitunen. And Pikurager out of the box, has the puck, but turns it over. EXEN really starting to get their wheels going here and beginning to take over the game for themselves. Moja, what a bounce right there, and eventually Finsete will grab it out of the air. Fluky play.
Yeah, that was almost more of a baseball catch there that Finsete had to make, but, you know, right before that chaos happens, and you kind of said it, you can feel like EXEN are really starting to kind of find their legs here. They're buzzing around the ice, they're cycling it, they're starting to kind of hem Valokuitunen in their own zone a little bit. This is starting to feel more and more dangerous the more this game continues, because EXEN has gotten better with each period. Valokuitunen has gotten a little bit worse, it feels like.
Valokuitunen having to reset in their own end. 5.5 minutes to go in this third period. Benito with the puck. Nikki Dangles now to Domi. His shot blocked. Domi has it again. Pikurager back to Domi. Sends it down low. No one there. Miscommunication. Nice forecheck though. Nikki Dangles knocked it loose, but they couldn't get the puck back. Indy now. His pass disrupted. He collects it on the point. Tonkelia. As Indy skates from behind the net and put a shot on that Finsete had a little bit of trouble with.
And now we're kind of in that next goal wins territory potentially with just a little bit over 3 minutes left, a 1-1 game. And if EXEN could steal this one, Sin, it feels like that could be massive for their hopes in this series. That first game, it doesn't determine everything, but it definitely could be a good stepping stone to the rest of the series. And to see EXEN continuing to play better as the game has gone on, it's got to be encouraging here, knowing they're still in this one with a chance to steal it.
Moja to Lundström. Otto out front! Oh, dangerous bounce right there. Indy couldn't quite put it home, and now Valokuitunen on the counterattack. Pikurager gets bested one-on-one with Moja. Or by Moja, I should say. There's another quick turnover. Will put Valokuitunen in possession. Quick pass to Benito, but he has trouble. Lundström takes that one away, and here come EXEN back the other way. Lundström across the line. Slows up. Back to the point. Moja in possession now off the loose puck. His shot looking for a deflection. Indy has it. Goes back up top. Moja, another shot from the point. Good blocks here by Valokuitunen. They finally are able to get this puck out of their zone. Domi does gain the line, sent down low to Pikurager. He gets bumped but doesn't lose possession. Teemu now, down low to Nikki Dangles. Teemu to Domi. They need to find a shot. Right now they're just working the perimeter here. Passed in front, turned over, and nothing comes of that offense's own possession for Valokuitunen. Tonkelia intercepts it. One more rush now on the side of EXEN. Otto with the puck. Otto, one-timer. Moja blocked in front. And once again, the official blows it dead with 0.6 remaining.
Man, this official really loves the spotlight, just wants to get a little bit more camera time, but nevertheless, in 0.5 left, we're gonna go to another overtime in a really tight game between these two teams. How many overtimes have we seen in this playoffs, man? I am loving it.
Yeah, this is now the 4th one of the day here. In a game where Valokuitunen just continued to kind of fall back, I feel like. They allowed EXEN to hang around. EXEN got that tying goal, and then really from there got a whole lot of momentum coming back. When you had a start like Valokuitunen did, I think it comes back to them not really pulling the trigger on a lot of those shots. And right now it's kind of a similar story. 11 minutes of time on attack and, 13 shots. While that's a little bit better than what they were averaging earlier in the game, it's just, EXEN, two shots per minute of time on attack in the offensive zone.
Yeah, and I promise I don't mean to keep bringing it up, and I don't mean to pile on Valokuitunen, but it really does feel similar to that series against the Blackjacks. Now, I don't think EXEN necessarily played as well as the Blackjacks did in terms of consistency, but they've become better and better as the game has gone on, and it feels like they've really found their groove. I would argue that the momentum is on EXEN's side. Now, with a chance to steal game one, this is one they have to take advantage of. If you want to beat a team like Valokuitunen, you have to win games like this.
Lundström sends it over to Otto. Back to the point now. Lundström avoiding the pressure. Shot from the distance there by Moja. But Otto keeping it alive in the offensive end, though. Turned over. Here comes Teemu. Sauces that one towards goal. Picked up by Nicky Dangles. He tried to pass in front. He's bumped off by Lundström. And now counterattack coming for EXEN. Tunkelia trying to change directions. Go to the middle of the ice. Doesn't go, but they do have possession. Aro goes up top. That's going to actually split the defense. He'll have to reset. What a pivot there by Lundström. And unfortunately, he had to wait for a skater to tag up. Couldn't capitalize on really catching Valokuitunen off guard there. Benito chops the puck. Nicky Dangles gets it. Now to Domi. Domi's shot blocked. Benito has it back, though. Elects not to shoot. And that just gives EXEN that time to, collapse in front of the net. Domi over to Teemu. Teemu knocked off the puck. Nicky Dangles does get it back. Piku Roger from behind the net. His pass to the point man, and that goes all the way down. And we are going to see another power play coming for Valokuitunen, and I didn't quite catch the infraction there. We'll see if they're going to need it.
I think it was a late hit from behind.
Yeah, so we will, and yeah, indeed, interference is the call. Good eye right there. So we'll get the chance to see the Valokuitunen power play now in overtime.
Yeah, I hope they show the replay because it was a late hit after that puck was already, right there. That puck was already well passed, and you hear the term finishing your checks in real life. That's the situation where you probably want to pull back. Too critical of the game, and Valokuitunen too good of a team to risk that. That could be really costly for EXEN.
See if Valokuitunen can capitalize on this man advantage. They're 0 for 3 so far. They're getting themselves set up here. Nicky Dangles to Domi. Domi didn't like what he sees. Teemu now elects not to shoot. And a self-clearance right there by Benito. And yeah, Valokuitunen just still a little too hesitant to shoot. Piku Roger now to Domi. Domi rips one on, and that one turned aside by Kazu. Shot from the point right there. Deflected and then hit off a body. Shot by Piku Roger. Bounces over the net. Benito now across to Nicky Dangles. They score! Finally capitalizing on the man advantage, and Valokuitunen win this one in overtime.
Well, it wasn't their best game, but Valokuitunen able to finish the job there in overtime. And, I know we said this after game one in that last series where, ironically, Valokuitunen also won in overtime, but that's going to feel like a missed opportunity for EXEN, especially considering that was a situation where they beat themselves, a bad, unneeded unnecessary penalty, puts Valokuitunen on the power play, and we said it during the pregame, you cannot beat yourselves and you cannot make mistakes. If you give Valokuitunen 4 power play opportunities, more than likely, they're gonna find their way to at least 1 goal. That's exactly what happened. Those are the situations that can be the difference between pulling off an upset and thinking about what could have been at the end of a series. A massive win for Valokuitunen and a game that EXEN are really going to look back on and think that they could have had.
Yeah, you know, the power play for Atred so far throughout these playoffs has not been good. Coming into the day, I think it was around like 8%. And you could kind of see why in this one, where they were really struggling to be decisive with it, I think. And you know, in this last one here, when it mattered most, they did get the huge capitalization, and that gives them that 1-0 series lead. And that's exactly what they needed here to start off on the right foot, because this Valokuitunen team hasn't looked as dominant here in the playoffs as they had in years past, especially as the defending champs.
Yeah, I think that's a big reason that a lot of the talk in these playoffs since that first round that we saw them was like, hey, this really is anyone's playoffs to win. And it always is that way, but at the same time, there always is kind of that feeling where it's like, okay, it's going to be Valokuitunen, it's going to be Tunnel Vision, it's going to be Straikers. It's going to be one of those 3 teams typically that everyone's like, one of those 3 are going to win the championship. This season, it hasn't really felt that way, and you maybe were kind of wondering coming into the series of, okay, maybe Valokuitunen just had an off series against the Blackjacks, maybe the server differences had something to do with it, or maybe the Blackjacks were just a really good matchup and they played well, but it feels like EXEN didn't even really play that well until the 3rd period, but yet they took them to overtime. And I feel like though Valokuitunen have to be glad that they won the game, I don't think that they're going to be necessarily thrilled with their performance. I just think they're way too hesitant right now. They're making uncharacteristic mistakes. They're getting out of their element a little bit too much. They're fortunate a little bit, I think, to come away with that game. Were they the better team through most of it? Yes, but I think still fortunate to come away with it.
So we'll have to see what happens for Game 2 and what the response for EXEN will be. But first, a brief word from our sponsors.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi. Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
All right, we are back with game number 2 between Valokuitunen Esports and EXEN, as Valokuitunen Esports win game number 1, 2-1 in overtime. Now they will look to try to double their series leader. Will EXEN be able to tie this series up at 1 heading into tomorrow? Unfortunately, Sin had to step out, so I'll be going ahead and taking in both roles here for the rest of the night, as this will be our final game of our broadcast here today. We've had some thrillers here so far. This one should be no exception, as we are underway, and Valokuitunen Esports control the face-off. As Nicky Dangles gets it past the blue line over to Teemu. Teemu circling around the boards, trying to find something, goes to Domi at the point. Domi to Benito. Benito down low, gets that puck back and feeds it back over to Pico Roger. Tried to hit it up front, but nobody was home, and now EXEN will take over. EXEN looked better and better as that game 1 went on. Valokuitunen started to weaken. We'll see how the momentum for these two sides carry over here in game 2. Jim Kelly had it but lost it. Now here comes Valokuitunen on the counterattack. Nicky Dangles over at the board. Stops, goes back to the point to Teemu. Teemu holding, looking for space. Goes down low. Back to Teemu, back to Domi now at the point. Domi holding in, gives it to Benito over at the boards. Back to Domi now behind him. Back down to Benito. They circled around. The cycle of Valokuitunen looking really good, but not able to get a shot on, and is turned over. That was the flaw for Valokuitunen in game 1, was the lack of shots. EXEN in the offensive zone. Ardo with it behind the net. Lost it, and Benito will pick it up, and here comes Valokuitunen now on the other end. Dangles holds it. Goes to Teemu. Tried to find something. Goes up to Pico Roger here at the point, and now back down low. Pass across. Couldn't get the shot off, but Benito gets it back. Another chance there as Pico Roger was in the slot, but couldn't get all of that puck. EXEN will pick it up and will try to break out of their own zone. Valokuitunen forechecking. Lost, didn't get it. Here comes Pico Roger. Shot on. Pad save made by Kazu. Puck loose behind the net and picked up by EXEN. Slap shot away and hit off of the behind of Indy, but EXEN tried to maintain it and couldn't. Nice forecheck, but Benito able to avoid it. Yazin loses the blue line. Now here comes EXEN on the other end. Indy tried to do a one-touch D, couldn't convert on it. Now Pico Roger speeds down the left boards. Holding it. Finds his way to Benito, but Benito loses it. Nice pick off there from Moja, disrupting that play. 9 minutes to play here in period number 1. Still looking for our opening goal. As EXEN trying to find it in the offensive zone. Ardo's wraparound attempt didn't go to the net. As here goes Valokuitunen on the counter, but they turn it over now. Get it right back to the neutral zone. Omi trying to tiptoe his way past the blue line, but will have to reset. Teemu controlling it. Slap shot was poked away there by EXEN, and here they come countering on the other end. Moja over to Aro. Backhand shot was easily saved by Fincere. And now here comes Valokuitunen on the other end. Didn't have it for long, however, as EXEN get it back in their own zone. Lundstrom up the right boards, trying to speed his way past into the offensive zone, but could not do so as Pico Roger gets it. Hit off of that puck hard there by the defender. Almost Moja that laid the body, but EXEN not able to keep possession. Shot on from Teemu, saved by Kazu. EXEN trying to get out of their own zone, but can't pass across. What a save by Kazu! Robbed Pico Roger on the play, and Kazu will get that puck and will hold on for the freeze, but the goaltender for EXEN continuing his stellar play from game number 1 here in the second game. Face off to the right of Kazu, tied up, won by Benito. Pico Roger shot on, saved by Kazu. Puck is in front, another shot by Benito. Full pressure now for Valokuitunen Esports. Benito hits the deck. Valokuitunen not able to do anything with that full pressure as Ardo has it. 2-on-2. Ardo pass across. Save made by Fincere. EXEN still pushing. Indy has it at the right corner board. Gives up to the point to Moja. Moja trying to create some space and does. Drives in. Pass across. Ardo shot on. Another shot on. First one blocked. Second one saved by Fincere. Here comes Valokuitunen on the other end. 4-on-3. Benito with it at the boards. Gates in, gives it back to Teemu at the point. Now to Domi at the opposite side. Piku Roger with it. Shot on from the face-off circle. Another shot on. Blocked in front. Benito gets it back there for Valokuitunen. 5 seconds left. Piku Roger wrap around his hands and hit the post. Another chance. Shot on. Benito goes wide. Hit the side of the net. And that will do it. No goals for the first period, but action-packed nevertheless. A few opportunities for both of these sides. Valokuitunen and Esports doing a much better job of just putting that puck on net, trying to find some opportunities. But a 0-0 score line here after the first 20 minutes of play. It'll be interesting to look at the stats there from that first period. Valokuitunen really doing a good job of shooting that puck more. You see 6 shots on net there in that first period alone. 5 minutes nearly of time and attack, while for EXEN just still not able to really get that zone time, but they've taken advantage of the zone time. They've gotten 3 shots in under 2 minutes of time on attack, so it's been Valokuitunen dominating the play, but EXEN still hanging around, and that's really what has kept them in the series so far. Game number 1 in overtime, 2-1 if you're just joining us. These two will be back in action tomorrow right here at twitch.tv/SportsGamerGG. We will see games 3 through 7 of this series. The winner moving on to the ECL Elite Finals a couple of weeks' time. So we are back underway for period 2, and EXEN control it, but lose it at the blue line. Domi will pick it up for Valokuitunen. Will start the break-in. All right, to pass Benito down the middle, but he couldn't hold on to it. Puck hit his skate and will go to EXEN. Moser controls it. Taking his time, putting a move on, and gives it over to Indy at the right boards, but Indy bumped off of that puck after maintaining it for a second and will now have to go back and play defense. Nicky Dangles has it. Nicky Dangles shot on, save made by Kazu. Valokuitunen, another quick chance, but still not able to break past the goaltending of Kazu. Here comes EXEN now on the other side. Aro had it as he passed the blue line, but it's poke checked away, and here comes Valokuitunen. They have numbers. Teemu shot on, blocked. Benito gets it at the left boards. Behind the net now is Piku Roger, picks in front. Benito with it, gives it over to Nicky Dangles, but he couldn't get that shot off, and here comes EXEN trying to counter. Dunkelia gives it to Landstrom, who goes all the way to the opposite side to Indy. Indy to Ardo, back to Moser at the point, shot on from the far point, swept away by Fincete, and Valokuitunen now will go on the other end. Nicky Dangles behind the net, wraparound chance, saved by Kazu. An aggressive goalie, but he'll not play it out this time. He'll hold on for the freeze. 13:09 to play in period number 2. Still scoreless here in game 2. Face off to the right side of Kazu. Left side for Valokuitunen Esports offensively. One in the defensive zone by EXEN. Moser tried to put a one-touch deke on, but couldn't beat the defender. Now Valokuitunen counters on the other side. Roger has it, gives it Benito, shot on, gloved away there by Kazu. It's Valokuitunen still trying to pressure, but it's turned over. Here comes Moja on the other end as the pass to the middle, picked off by Benito. Valokuitunen now trying to find something, but both sides defensively, doubt so far. Not a lot of time, not a lot of space for passes. EXEN currently controls it. Dunkelia at the right boards, poke checked away, but found by Moja, poked away again, and now here's a 3-on-2, maybe a 2-on-1, but the puck lost there by Valokuitunen. Teemu ends up getting it back behind them. Domi at the point to Nicky Dangles, puts that puck behind the net, but nobody there to get it. Now EXEN makes possession. Puck dumped behind the net, found to Indy. Now to Landstrom at the point, skates it. Goes in, shot on net, nice save there from Kazu. No one there for the rebound chance. Would have been a chance for a goal potentially. Valokuitunen has it in the zone. Turned over and found the Landstrom. Gives it up to Ardo. Ardo trying to work his way. That one-touch deke move has not worked for him. He's been halted at that a few times so far in this game. He's not the only one either. Both sides have tried to put on a move, but the defense has been stellar. Teemu has it and gives it to Benito over at the right corner board. Back to Teemu at the point. Back to Benito out the boards. Benito looking for an option. Doesn't have much and goes back to Teemu. Those two just working together. Shot on. Save made. Another shot. And they score! The pass to Nicky Dangles in the slot beats Kazu. And Valokuitunen, after pushing for over 35 minutes, find the first goal of the game, a 1-0 lead. As you get another look at that play, the pass to Nicky Dangles. Just enough space to get that through, enough space to get the shot off cleanly. Kazu just not able to get in position after making a few plays, and Valokuitunen, just like they did in game 1, lead this one 1-0. In the latter stages of the second period, EXEN, however, in control of possession, and already has a shot on, patted away by Fincere. EXEN still pushing the issue on the offensive end, but it's turned over. Nicky Dangles with it, tried to cross the blue line with his fellow forwards, but just a hair behind the rest of them, and now lead to an offside call. Get a look at that time on attack. Over 8 minutes already for Valokuitunen, and EXEN just under 3 minutes. It's off one by EXEN in the neutral zone, but it's turned over. A nice pick off there by Nicky Dangles. They have given Lundstrom and Moja a little bit of trouble at times in that neutral zone on the breakout. Now what's one of the keys was stopping the two defenders on the offensive end of EXEN. Teemu controls it, speeds his way, and gives it to Pico Roger. Pico Roger tried to pass it to Nicky Dangles, but was bumped off before he could get it to him. Ardo over at the left boards. Just wait. One-timer goes wide. A quick play between him and Lundstrom. Could have maybe been a goal there, but not able to put it in the back of the net. Another shot on, save made by Kazu. Here comes EXEN. 5 seconds to play. Last chance for them to get an opportunity is just going to be dumped in by Moja. Now will kill the rest of the clock. Valokuitunen up 1-0 in the series. They're now up 1-0 in game number 2. A goal from Nicky Dangles gave them the opening goal of the game just with 5 minutes left in the second period. Trying to hold on to take a 2-0 series lead into tomorrow. You get one more look there as Kazu just not able to get over that left side. He was following that puck over to his right. Quick pass from Pico Roger over to Nicky Dangles, and it beat him. 12 shots compared to 6 for Valokuitunen, and finding their way to a few more shots more consistently, I think, than what we saw from them in that first game. They just don't look as hesitant as they did there in games 1 and really the first 7 games of that last series. EXEN gonna have to try to find something. They're still hanging around, but we talked about their offense and how it stepped up in the quarterfinals. Moser said the offense struggled a little bit in the regular season, and they were able to somewhat mitigate it without making any changes in that quarterfinal round. They're gonna have to make some changes here as they've been held scoreless, just 1 goal in the first 5 periods of the series, and down 1-0 here. They're underway. A shot on, blocked in front. Puck was loose, but picked up by Valokuitunen. Roger hits Domi. Comes over to Nicky Dangles. Shot on, save made by Kazu. So he'll have to squeeze tight and hold on to that puck to not let it trickle in behind him. Face-off will be to the right side of Kazu. This will be just the 8th face-off of this game. A lot of stoppages so far. Tie up face-off, one cleanly by EXEN. Moja got it into the neutral zone, but was hit off of the puck immediately. Now Valokuitunen will take over possession. As Nicky Dangles has it, but an offside going to be called. So from few stoppages to multiple stoppages here to start this third. Face-off tied up, one again by EXEN. Kelly are doing a good job at the dot so far in this game. Controls it with Lundstrom. Gives it to Moja. Bounces it off, gives it to Indy. Indy, backhand shot, easily gloved away by Fincere, and he'll hold on for the whistle. EXEN with a rare offensive zone face-off here coming up. The left side of Fincere here. Tied up once again, won by EXEN. Shot on, saved by Fincere. Puck loose in front, found by Domi, and he'll give it up to Teemu as Valokuitunen will avert danger. Here they come on the counter. A pass across from Nicky Dangles, but getting that was Kazu. He'll hold on and freeze it. 15 minutes, 34 seconds left here in the third period. We saw this go to overtime in game number 1. EXEN going to hope to at least push it there again. Kuitunen in the zone. Pico Roger with it. Pass attempt across there was saved by Kazu. He'll play this one out. Moja over to Indy at the boards. Poked away, and here's a one-on-one here. Pika Roger and Lundstrom. Shot on, blocked by Lundstrom. Great defensive recovery there. We'll force Valokuitunen to reset, and they do successfully. They're now back in the offensive zone with Benito holding it. Benito, pass in the middle, was picked away by Tunkelia, and here comes EXEN on a counter. Indy at the left side, gets it to Lundstrom. Lundstrom, shot on, save made by Vincere. Lundstrom got it back behind the net momentarily, but was bumped off of the puck. 12 minutes to play here in period 3. Valokuitunen just holding on right now. Oja up the right boards, cuts to the middle, puck lost but found by Ardo. Battled for and found by Teemu, and still skated in with some open space. Gets it in the offensive zone. Battle between him and Lundstrom for it, and Lundstrom gets the best of that one. Tunkelia, poke checked at the blue line, and found by Teemu. Halfway through the third. 1-0 still. Next goal will be a critical one in this game if there is a next goal. Lundstrom will take his time on the breakout, scanning his options and gives it up to Indy, but it's turned over. Found again, however, by EXEN as Valokuitunen didn't have it for long. Lundstrom gets in the offensive zone, deeks and finds Tunkelia on a deke that ended up being an inadvertent pass. Not able to keep it in the zone, there was EXEN. Valokuitunen now skating it in on the opposite end, but turned over before they could cross the blue line. 7 minutes remain now in regulation. Time starting to wear thin here for EXEN. Roger gives it to Nicky Dangles up to Teemu at the point. Teemu skates with it and dumps it down low to Benito. Benito at the corner board, trying to find a passing option. He gives it to Teemu, shot on. Easy save made by Kazu, and here comes EXEN on the other end. Moja finds Ardo. Ardo with it, holding it, poke checked away there. Nice defense from Valokuitunen as Pika Roger has it, dumps it to the opposite side corner board, and it's found by Benito. He wins the race to the puck. Valokuitunen in the zone, cycling it around. Pika Roger with it, backhand shot saved by Kazu. Puck loosed in front and played out by Kazu as it looked like he was going to hold on to it. Ardo with it, passed across to the opposite boards, but could not find Indy cleanly. 3 minutes left here, just over. There's a big hit there in the neutral zone, but Valokuitunen didn't keep it. Nicky Dangles had it, but was poked away in front of the net. 2.5 to play, still 1-0. EXEN looking to push the issue. Valokuitunen trying to hold on to take a 2-0 series lead as Vincere gets that shot on and makes the easy save. He'll hold on for a stoppage. 115 seconds remaining here in regulation. Thank you to Stick On for the raid. For those of you just now joining us, Valokuitunen won game number 1 of the semifinals matchup, 2-1 in overtime. They lead 1-0 now in game 2. With less than 2 minutes left. Big offensive zone face-off for EXEN, but a bigger defensive zone face-off win for Valokuitunen. They're not able to clear, however, as EXEN get it back, but they turn it back over. Benito in the neutral zone, skates past the blue line, but poked off of his stick immediately. 1 minute to play here. EXEN with possession, down 1. Tunkelia at the boards, well defended there by Nicky Dangles. He stops anything from happening. Pika Roger to Benito. Benito makes a move with the shot, and they score! The captain with the potential closer. A 2-0 lead for Valokuitunen in the Esports. In a beautiful move to clear the room. The shot on net beats Kazu, and Benito doubles the Valokuitunen lead in the late stages of this game. And it was just a little L2 move there. They created that one. Was able to get the defender to back off of him. I believe that was Moja that was on him there. And now Valokuitunen looking on their way to a 2-0 series lead, up 2-0 in game 2. EXEN still trying to hold on to their last gasp. Lundstrom controls it. Tunkelia had it, but lost it immediately. Benito controlling it in the neutral zone, but turned over as Moja gets it for EXEN. 30 seconds remaining. Ardo to Lundstrom. Lundstrom pass across. Nice defensive play there made by Domi. He'll just clear this all the way out, and Nicky Dangles on a breakaway. Can't beat Kazu. Big save made, but Valokuitunen gets it back in the offensive zone. Penalty called on EXEN. It was a trip on Benito. 2-minute power play now for Valokuitunen Esports, and if there was any chance of a comeback, that Tunkelia penalty will put it to rest. So Valokuitunen Esports, a much better played game number 2, less hesitant, looked much more like the team that we've come used to seeing on the offensive end. Dominant in the possession game, got a good amount of shots on net. Kazu in the defensive EXEN kept them in it for a while, but the same issues have plagued EXEN all season. Offense and goal scoring caused issues there as Mojo with a quick chance, but not able to get the shot on cleanly. One last opportunity for EXEN. One-timer goes wide. That will do it. Valokuitunen Esports take a 2-0 series lead, a 2-0 shutout victory in game number 2. Vincere phenomenal in net. His second shutout of the postseason, his 12th throughout the season as a whole. Valokuitunen Esports looking good and in full control of the series heading into tomorrow. As you get a look at the game-winning goal, it was late in the second period from Nicky Dangles. As EXEN going to have to do a little bit of soul-searching on the offensive end, just not a lot for them on that end. Mose just talked about it in my interview with him a little bit earlier today, that the offense was a struggle for them somewhat in the regular season, especially down the stretch. It seemed like they found their offensive game a little bit against Totturit in the quarterfinals, but Valokuitunen, a much different monster, especially on the defensive end. Vincere, phenomenal in between the pipes, making big saves, an 11-shot shutout for him. Valokuitunen Esports take game number 2 2-0 after taking game 1 2-1 in overtime. As we will bring you back into the booth to wrap things up here for our Elite Division coverage today. As I promise you, I am here. I have not gone away on you guys. I am here. I'm just invisible for now. I will come back hopefully eventually. I'm here. I'm just invisible for a few moments. But nevertheless, Valokuitunen Esports, a 2-0 series lead. We saw Straikers versus Tunnel Vision earlier. See, I told you I would not leave you guys hanging. I just had to disappear for just one quick second. My ghosting abilities that we have here. But nevertheless, Straikers winning game number 1. Tunnel Vision winning game number 2. That triple overtime thriller that we saw. Straikers won game 1 with less than a minute to play in the third period, so 2 close games there. Another overtime game at game 1 between that Valokuitunen and EXEN series. Valokuitunen getting the 2-1 victory, and then once again a 2-0 win to end things off, as we will have more coverage of this series right back here tomorrow as Valokuitunen Esports take their 2-0 series lead versus EXEN, as we will be right back here at twitch.tv/SportsGamerGG. You can also find the live stream on YouTube and X. As you can see, 19:15 CEST will be the time that we start our broadcast. Sin will be back with me in the booth tomorrow. Remember, 19:15 CEST the time, as Valokuitunen Esports will look to close this series out versus EXEN to clinch their spot into yet another finals. The defending champs trying to find their way back in, while EXEN going to hope to try to march back a comeback here. They have to turn things around quickly, less than 24 hours away. We'll see if they can make that happen. I want to give one last thank you to our amazing sponsor in COVID on Occupancy. We appreciate them, all their support of what we do here at SportsGamer GG, as well as at the ECL. A big thank you to Sin for his contributions here on the broadcast. Unfortunate that he couldn't stick it out here with us, but he will be back in the booth with us tomorrow. A big thank you to Chris behind the scenes for the amazing production, and everyone at SportsGamer GG and the ECL for what they do to make this league and our coverage possible. That will do it for our broadcast here today. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you right back here for the remainder of this series tomorrow at 19:15 CEST. Thank you all for tuning in, and have a great rest of your night.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.